professionals here.
Yeah, when I say I'm ready, I'm ready. We go for it. All right. Plat Chat Overwatch. Episode, I'm Googling. 224?
On the screen. It's on the screen.
Oh, it's on the screen. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
He's not ready. He's not ready.
Sorry. 2 to
He was
4.
not
There it
ready.
is. Look, I'm grabbing the link and I'm going to tweet this out, Joss. I'm going to tweet this out because we're back. We're doing a live stream, which we usually don't do anymore, especially afternoon live streams to cater to AVRL's sleep schedule. So I hope you're well rested, AVRL.
Oh, yeah. Let's go,
Let's go.
AVRL.
I'm loving it. Just like
Feeling well rested.
Congratulations, staying
loving
awake.
it. Yeah, much better. I mean, I'd be a lot less well rested, let's say, if we did it earlier. So we're good.
All right. I'm expecting
Powering
big takes today. We got some good segments. I'm expecting big takes.
You know
from
what? I'll suffer a little bit during the NAEU because, to be honest, I don't know who did the scheduling, but all Overwatch games happen at exactly the same time, which all happened within the same weekend. So I actually can't even watch everything, and haven't had a chance to really catch up yet. My bad. So my value during NAEU might be a little low, but I'm gonna be big carry man. My value will be shown when Asia happens. Okay, that's what I'm gonna be here to carry. That's what my job is. So I can get into it. I'm ready.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna take that segue and say that, you know, someone who can carry your balls, it's Manscaped. That's right. Call them what
That's
you
crazy.
want. Knee knockers, golden nuggets, thigh slappers. But our friends at Manscaped refer to them as the boys. Not every man has children, but every man is responsible for their 2 boys below the waist. When your little guys have more hair than they need, trust Manscaped for all your grooming dreams. Boys need love too, so join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com and use code PLATCHAT for 20% off plus free shipping. You heard it here first. The boys are back in town. Every man knows how scary it can get when going for a close shave below the waist. That's why I trust Manscaped for all my sensitive areas. Introducing the Lawnmower family, including Lawnmower 3.0 Plus, the 4.0 Pro, and the 5.0 Ultra. Yep, 3 ball trimmers. Isn't it awesome? Boys need love too, and for this reason, these trimmers equipped with skin-safe technology, an LED spotlight, and unique features for different grooming needs. Skin safe technology does not guarantee cut protections. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code PLATCHAT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code PLATCHAT at manscaped.com. For the best your boys have ever looked, trust Manscaped. There we go. Had to bang that one out. Real quick right there.
That's crazy.
All right.
Good job, Johnny.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna say anything about carrying the segments, Joss,
Crazy.
but I trust your takes as always.
Oh, okay, sure.
All right.
Yeah. No
So
problem.
I'm just going to get into the episode. No long rant about movie takes or aliens this time around. So we got...
You
man.
changed, Johnny.
The
You
Pentagon
changed.
has opened up a public forum so you can actually submit UFO stuff now. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I'm going to say on that. That's the only thing.
Oh, no.
I'm waiting for the.
Jack,
I'm waiting
stop,
for the segment.
Jack.
A new segment's coming in. It's going to be me and Avril are going to talk about aliens live in Dallas. It's going to be a good time.
Oh my goodness.
I will go hard. Do you not think that will go hard?
Live in Dallas, guys. Guys, live in Dallas?
Live in Dallas.
Okay, anyway.
I actually listened to don't ask why. I listened to a lot of podcasts this past week. By the way,
Yeah, you look
podcasts
average
definitely the
podcast.
best source of
About
information.
what?
But I listened to a podcast about which presented some arguments why there probably aren't aliens out there. And I just had a moment where I was just like, all this aliens bullshit, it's just a load of crap. Anyway, so one day I promise I will Jaws will sit down, we'll break down the aliens conversation. I'll be against, you can be pro, there's alien life forms out there, but we'll have a proper chat about it, okay? That sound good?
He's suppressing free thought. Free thinking is dead when Johnny's around.
Thinker.
The free thinking
It's
economy is down.
anti-scientific to be against. Just want you to know that's anti-scientific.
You aliens
That's
exist.
so good. That's so good.
Oh my god. Anyway, all right. So as you said, Avril, we had, I guess, 3 big tournaments. We had Asia main event. We had the EMEA bracket taking place and the NA bracket taking place, of course, at the same time. So a lot of results came out of that. So I just picked out 5 kind of like sports show topics, and we can kind of have a discussion around the topics. Why do you roll your eyes, Jaws?
Bro,
Why do you
every
roll your
time I'm
eyes?
like, dude, this guy brings up sports, and I immediately fall asleep. Immediately. I'm just
Okay,
like,
so
what's there to do in Dallas? Oh, you can see some sports.
Bro,
Just
no one
instantly.
likes this show anymore. We just show up and we just we just yap, dude. Joss, I need to say a
What?
positive thing about the show. My confidence is all time, bro.
You're bringing up sports. I was trying to make a funny. I
Yeah.
had it in the script that you gave me before the show started, and it said, Jaws, make a funny here, and I did. So,
All
there you go.
right. Here we
So
go.
yeah,
Move on,
yapping
next
is the whole
line.
point of the podcast. That's what we're here to do.
That's
My
actually
favorite
true.
activity.
That is actually true. All right, so here you go. Here's my sports show topic right here. I'm gonna serve it to AVRL first because it kind of caters a bit more to Korea here.
Okay.
You know, I took a gander at the grand finals. Falcons versus Crazy Raccoons. You know, Crazy Raccoons pretty dominant there. They established some dominance, some diff between the players. You know, pretty convincing win right there. So I'm gonna ask this. Well, actually, maybe you won't know this because you didn't really watch NA and EU. But is there a chance, given Falcons' performance, that Space Station or Toronto will be better than Falcons going into Dallas? No Korea
Still-
top 2.
Still no. I don't even have to watch these guys to know it's no. And the
It's-
reason why is because we just had another meta shift. Assuming we don't have another giant meta shift since then, I actually think, based on where the meta is headed towards, like the big tool for the Western teams to catch up and play even is to abuse the fuck out of Orisa. And that option just like, I don't know if Orisa's like dead, but Orisa is like
Orisa's
a lot
dead.
worse.
It's down.
I'm gonna pronounce
Okay.
Orisa dead.
Tremendous, I'll say.
Well, there it is. So the chances for SSG and Toronto to really do something about it will be less so. So I think we're going to head towards possibly a guest dive. I don't know. Have people started scrimming yet? I don't know where the current
I
scrim
think they
meta
started
is.
today. Yeah, I think.
Right.
because-
So I wonder.
I
I
don't
wonder
think
if
anybody
this,
really knows yet. I think we're still early to say what's.
so but let's
truly
just
meta.
like, is it safe to assume we like start moving back towards dive? Okay, Orisa gone. Maybe we start looking towards Winston Doom again. I can't imagine. Are we really going to play that much RAM? I think maybe Space Station might play a bit of RAM. Korea's not going to play in a RAM. So yeah, I mean, if there was a chance for SSG to do it, they needed the Orisa, and Orisa's gone.
Kind of
Thank
open
God
it
for
up to the floor here. Do you think all hope is lost for the West?
Yeah, it's
I
been
do think
lost
there's a
since
huge
like day
problem
one of
for-
OWCS. Like,
Huge
is
problem
any-
for SSG is like Winston on a dive is really good against I think what they play. I think they're hoping that like a Bastion. I feel like for Space Station you're actually hoping for like some kind of Bastion cheese. Usually historically Bastion is like the hero that if it is good can beat like Winston dive because you just melt the tanks so hard they like can't properly play dive. They can't cycle cooldowns. They just die to one use of the form. But you know, I think with the armor changes too, I feel like that's a big nerf to Bastion actually. So that doesn't seem likely to me at all.
was there any like contrary statement to are Korea going to be their best region in the world? Was there anybody saying like, oh no, it's definitely you and NA guys, don't worry guys, it's fine. They don't have all the Korea doesn't have all the best players on 4 different teams that could probably take Dallas take the win in Dallas regardless of them qualifying or not. Like, I don't know. If it was like Toronto have the best chance out of any of the Western teams, but I mean Korea wins Dallas like 100%. There's just no way. I
Yeah,
don't
they
see any
win
of that.
Dallas. And I'll forfeit the dive argument. Yo, if we go in and we play Winston Doom, ain't
think
no
it
way.
matters.
There ain't
Yeah,
no
ain't
way.
no
Yeah,
fucking
you just
way.
lose instantly.
But like, if we had a wonky tank meta of some kind, I would at least, entertain the possibility that like Space Station or, Toronto with someone could compete with Falcons. Because I wasn't hugely impressed by Falcons in the grand finals.
I would entertain it on the pre-Orisa nerf patch because I thought SSG they look really insane on the patch just been. So I would have, I totally agree with you. But now in the current patch, I don't know anymore. I don't think so.
I feel like the only argument there is still hope because we just don't know the meta. I agree if it's like some extreme like Winston Tracer on a Brig, and then who cares what the last DPS is? I think it's like it's looking really bad. But I think it's the meta change is so significant with the tank patch and all the small patches we've had since the last time teams have played competitively. I do think it's really hard to know what the meta will be. Although I think. Yeah. I mean, in the end, it's just full speculation, right, to guess at the meta. So I guess the hope for NA and EU is that really, I think the hope is that there's some sort of last minute meta shift that like people don't resolve a clear meta until right before the event. And then just by having like a really good read of the meta on day one, you like get ahead and then like you make Crazy Raccoons and Falcons play each other. It's not gonna. They're not both gonna lose though. That's too crazy. So you have to like somehow engineer a situation where Crazy Raccoons and Falcons eliminate each other before eliminating all the Western teams. That'd be like the way to make not those two teams top 2.
The problem is, right, just like with the modern day financial institution and how the banks work and how just like how money works right now, the rich are getting richer every single day, and the Korean region is going to get better every single day as well, because they have the best players, which means they have the best scrim partners, which means they're going to get better at a quicker rate than the EU and NA teams who don't have the best scrim partners compared to Korea. Like, they're probably screaming Korea teams, maybe. I mean, maybe Toronto is. I would imagine they would be, but it would be like weird on ping. Maybe they play on West Coast kind of thing.
Have they been? Don't they?
But
They stream all their scrims. I never see them scrim Koreans.
That's true. I mean, they could be streaming those scrimming them off stream. I don't actually know if that's for a fact, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Look,
People are really gonna play on like the 150 ping scrim if you have like decent scrim opponents in your region. I feel
yeah,
like.
you would, right? Like, definitely. And that's going to be the big problem. I genuinely think Dallas is actually the first and only hope for the West. The first and only hope. The money just keeps going up. The investment banks just keep getting bigger, and the investment analysts are just earning more money. And that is Overwatch esports in a nutshell. East versus West, we're doomed. We're just doomed. That's it.
Oh
This
my
is our only
God.
chance. That is my prediction. That's the only chance.
Literally, is the rich get richer.
Koreans get
That's-
better because they have better scrim partners, and so they get better, and then they just get better than the rest of the world. And then maybe Japan catches up, and then pops off. I'm waiting.
We gotta have a conversation about Japan
Me?
at some point as well.
I'm
I
here
don't
for
know
it.
if that's a segment, but anyway.
I put it in I put a segment in there that was just like
it'll be covered in the Asia
how
part. You know
over
what?
is it for Pacific and Japan? And
We'll
I was
talk
just
about
like,
Japan
we
during the
don't talk
entirety
about
of
that.
the Asia part, so we'll get there.
It's not over.
Good night, sweet prince.
Not over.
yeah. I mean, it was
No,
pretty
Jake,
sad.
don't do it to him.
It's actually a
Don't
good
do it to
night,
him.
sweet prince situation for all the
No,
other
Jake, no.
the
Yeah,
regions
yeah.
in Asia. It's not looking too hot.
Yeah, we don't have a proper like full Asia main event breakdown, AVRL. So if you want to riff on that, you can go ahead. But otherwise, I
Wait
was
till
just,
we talk about Asia. Unless we... Oh, no, you said we don't have an Asia
yeah,
thing.
I'm saying we don't have like a committed Asia segment. We don't have a committed NA or EU EMEA segment. I just took some
Okay.
questions we can kind of like riff on here.
Alright.
So if you just want to talk about Japan
I don't
now,
know if,
you can.
I don't know if now I don't want to just like... I felt like... Did we finish with the current... Are we still talking about...
No,
East
I
versus
think
West? We're good?
You know, I tried. Maybe there'd be a hot take in there, but everyone just like, hey, we're not touching this take with a
Okay,
10-foot stick. Like we're not touching the top 2 Korea
I'll
thing.
throw a bone. You know, I think we need to be a little interesting. I'll throw a bone over towards the Western teams. I still believe that Toronto has some good potential. I think you know, M80 on low ping is like a much more formidable team. But yeah, I just like pound for pound, it is going to be an uphill battle. Like, there's no doubt about it. I'm sure they know this. They probably they won't want to believe it, but some part of them will know for sure that they are the underdogs going in. Like, if you're Toronto, if you're M80, if you're Space Station, if you're ENCE, whatever, like, we don't even have to touch on some of the other teams who are just going to be there to have fun, really. But you know, you're the underdogs compared to
Twisted
Crazy
Minds.
Raccoon and Falcons. So
Feels terrible, man.
Jake, bro, Jake just went there. Jake just fucking dropped the fucking PM bomb right
You
there.
gotta admit, it's kind of
Boom.
funny. Just a
just
nice
fucking did it.
thing with like a tank off roll, no scrim against Falcons or Crazy Raccoon. I wonder if there will be some trolling in those games.
They literally came out and
That
said,
would be
I
sad.
can't remember who said it, but they came out
They
and
said they're not gonna take it seriously. It's so bad.
they're not even gonna
actually.
practice a lab on tank because like they're playing in the
It's
Faces
so
League. It
bad.
makes no sense for them to even practice with him on tank because it takes
So
away from their
sad,
facing prep.
man. Like,
Oh my god,
genuinely.
yeah,
That is honestly really rough.
that's hey, you got to go to Dallas, so enjoy that.
Yay, Dallas.
Yeah,
They just like me for real. Just get to go to Dallas. Yo, what's up, guys?
well, you have to pay for it. I guess they don't, so it's even rougher for you, Avro.
Right, it's actually even right. Guys, just gotta rub it in like that.
You just
Okay,
gotta go there,
okay.
huh, Johnny? Is that how it is?
I'm
Just like,
showcasing some empathy for you here, Avril. You know, I
I'm
feel
copping
bad for
some
you.
L's out here.
Yeah, I'm trying to feel bad for you, like a good friend would. Anyway, where are we going with this? Do you want to talk about Japan or no?
Yeah, sure. So I'll weave in Pacific into this conversation because it'll be like
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
a womp womp Japan, and oh my god, Pacific actually good, guys, holy shit. So I think everyone who has, unfortunately very few people this will apply to, but everyone who really knew the sort of Asia and the sub-regions of Asia, probably based on history, knew that Pacific were going to be favored versus Japan. But holy fuck, Japan unfortunately did not show up. And it pains me to say that because I think we on this podcast, I'm just going to speak for everyone right now, is me speaking on behalf of everyone. We would love Japan to do well because, my goodness, it's a burgeoning new region that has a lot of growth potential. But for how fast the viewership and interest has gone, bro, the level of play is still leaves a lot to be desired. And I don't know what to say except they need a bunch of time, and I really, really hope the Japanese audience is patient enough to give their teams a chance to develop, because right now, yeah, it was very, very ugly. Sadly, they went 0 for 14, I think,
Yeah.
maps. So they lost
No,
0-3
0 for
to the
12?
Koreans. No, because they played a show match as well. So if you include the
Oh.
show match, they also lost. They
You're
also
including
lost.
the
We don't
Hanaoka
include the show match.
Okay, you don't have to.
Do not
okay,
include that.
okay. But the show match. was
0%
Team
is 0%, guys.
Guys,
It's
guys,
not-
guys. The show match was Team Japan versus Team Pacific, and they still lost. I don't know. Look, they didn't win the show match either. We can leave the show match out. It's 0-0-12 instead of 0-14. Point is, they won 0 maps. Jake is right. They won 0 maps. They couldn't take a single map off anybody. It was very unfortunate. Like VARL, especially Insomnia. Okay, they're the second best team. Whatever. Didn't have high hopes. It is what it is. But VARL, DAF, that's supposed to be a rivalry, man. But it's one of those super one-sided rivalries where DAF wins every single time, right? And VARL just this time didn't take a single map. But then again, DAF went 5 maps against FTG, against Violet and Burnout. So like, holy
Which
fuck,
is
what
honestly,
happened there?
that's one of the most impressive results, I think, from the region, is that they played them so close.
That's never happened before. Like I think no like Pacific team, or like no, Pacific Australian, Southeast Asia based kind of team has ever gone to, like, I don't think they've even taken 1 map off a tier 1 Korean team before, let alone 2, and forced a map 5. So that's fucking
Actually,
ridiculous.
Avril, I
That
have
was
a
actually
question for
ridiculous.
you. Is this
Yeah.
a good sign for NA and EU at Dallas? Is that the one ray of hope right now?
Whoa!
Bro.
That like, because we've seen FTG not like beat Crazy Raccoons and Falcons, or not look better, but be competitive, like not be complete stomps. And so
Yeah.
I guess there's more questions, like, okay, how do we rate Pacific versus NA and EU? I would have thought, okay, NA and EU would be way stronger than Pacific, but now we're getting too deep into the transitive property here. I already
We
know
are
I'm
getting pretty
cooking too
deep.
much. So
I love it, Jake. I love it.
It's,
I mean,
it's a
You're doing
flawed
God's work.
comparison, of course.
The first thing I'll say is, well, FTG ain't going, so you're never gonna know. No, but the second thing would be like, man, if you really want to go transitive property, it's like FTG went to map 5 against DAF and also map 5 against Falcons. So that's very, very interesting indeed. No, I think there's some genuine hidden gems in the region, in Pacific for sure. And so, I don't think DAF are would make it to Dallas through NA or EU either necessarily, but I think they'd be fighting. They'd be fighting for a top 8 for sure. I think they'd definitely be fighting for top 8 minimum. So I'll give them that. But it could just be like a FTG Falcons thing. Where honestly, watching that game, FTG were a little thrown off. I think they were not as prepared. Maybe they underestimated their opponents. And I also think Falcons are the type of team sometimes where they kind of play down their opponents a little bit. And also they just looked way shakier this tournament in general compared to Crazy Raccoons, which is on a different level. Crazy Raccoons were flawless, man. Like, they were so good. But yeah, I don't know. Korea, top 3 Korea is competitive enough that FTG didn't get 0-3 versus anybody. They went 1-3 versus Crazy Raccoons, 2-3 versus Falcons. They beat Yeti 3-0. I think FTG with Violet Burnout, that was a super solid team. And they got surprised a little bit by DAF, but I think we all did. So, no, I still think Falcons and Crazy Raccoons are ahead, but maybe Falcons like have some competitive games versus the Western teams because, again, I think this team maybe plays down a little bit sometimes.
So Did they ever come out and say if they get the extra slot for ESWC?
Who come out and say? Who you talking about?
Because the winner of Dallas gets an extra slot, right? For
The World Cup, yeah, Esports World Cup.
yeah.
You asking if for confirmation if that will go to DEF?
Yes.
To my knowledge, it will go to DEF.
Yeah, because they want
I'm not an actual source. I'm not like an actual like, hello, I represent fucking face or some shit. But to my knowledge,
Wow.
based on source I made it the fuck up, yes, it goes to DEF.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because I just blanked. I just hard blanked. So yeah, I want some clarification on that. Oh, here it is. Great, you found the page.
Okay.
So yeah, there it is. That's the top 4 as expected, and then one of the TBD, I guess, is OWCS major winning region invite. So DAF was the only team who won 2 maps, I guess, at the event. But I don't know how else they determine who the extra invite would go to, since they didn't have a decider between DAF and Honeypot.
Yeah, it's
Because Honeypot was the higher seed, I think, going into right. So
correct, but they didn't. The map differential goes the way of DEF.
yeah,
So to my knowledge, that means DEF can move forward.
yeah. It'd be cool to have a separate match, but I mean that feels a bit too late now at this point. So I don't know.
I think it's a bit wonky. I think you'd have to make the players, do an online game, and then there could be roster changes as well because certain players have different engagements. For example, one of the DEF players, Lumi, immediately had to return to Singapore straight away to go to the military. He actually took a break from the military, like took time off to attend this LAN, and then as soon as he like finished playing, he's like on a plane back to Singapore in military. So it's like, yeah.
That is crazy.
I think the discussion actually, it's weird. I think with how these brackets are always going to come down, these wildcard slots, these brackets, not wildcard slots, sorry, but these brackets with all the regions kind of mixed into one in the Asia region, it's like, we should just give Korea its own bracket because they are going to win that bracket over and over and over and over and over again. Like, I genuinely think there should be like a everybody except Korea bracket because God,
it should be like Apex, where Korea is just the main region and Pacific and Japan gets invite to the Korea region.
Yeah, like seriously, it kind of should be, especially for these global events, because it's like you'd want the other regions to be shown at like a LAN environment where they're not just going to come up against the Korean teams and just get insta-stomped 3-0'd held in spawn. Like, I think there should be a point where we look at this seriously and go, okay, Korea's like just unbelievable. And then the other regions, they're not quite there yet. They will eventually get there. I have big hope for Japan. I do. And Pacific in general. I think there is a big chance for them to get better over the next couple of years. But for the time being, probably should just separate the regions a little bit and just say, hey, Korea, look, Chief. We know you're pretty good at the game.
We know you're different, all right?
We know you're different. Let's just give other players and other teams a chance from different regions that haven't been represented before a chance at a LAN in Dallas or Stockholm or wherever the fuck, right? I think that seriously needs to be discussed going into next year. Obviously, the format's all complete for this year, so we can't change any of that. But yeah,
would that
I think
be
that
an additive slot, or would it replace one of the only 2 slots that Korea now has?
Probably an additive.
Isn't that the biggest issue though? That Korea only has 2 slots. I feel like that's the most.
That is also
problem
another
here.
big issue. But
Or
then it's
Asia,
like,
I guess technically it's Asia has 2 slots, but like even
Yeah.
I mean Korea itself should probably have 4 slots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, China's likely to come back next year or this year, but
even
OWCS next year. So it's like there's got to be a major discussion about like format again. How this all gets addressed.
my Overwatch League again. We're changing the format once more. Like, holy
no, but it really
shit,
has to
dude.
change. Like,
It
it's
does have
actually
to
so
change,
bad
yeah.
that the region as strong as Korea is, and I feel like I don't know. Is anyone surprised that Korea is the strongest?
No,
I feel like that was
no.
like the most obvious. So for me, I get it. I mean, I guess if you only have 8 teams at the major, maybe the solution is there's like 10 teams at the major or something, or maybe or realistically, as much of an NA and EU stan as I am, like it probably they should only have 2 slots, right? You look at both NA and EU. I mean, EU maybe is more unlucky that they don't have 3 competitive teams because of Twisted Minds, but to be honest, like I'm not convinced that. I mean, EU honestly is closer with Twisted Minds, ENCE, and Space Station to having 3 truly elite competitive teams. And maybe NA could get there too, but Korea is just there right now, and so it just seems weird. It seems weird. the
Well,
way
you know,
the world
with
is.
China, so two EU, 2 NA, 2 Korea, that's 6. Then 2 from the Pacific regions, including Japan, that's 8, and then 2 from China. If China get a region as well, then 10.
You need 12. You need 12 total, guys. You gotta
then
go from 8 to
wildcard?
12. Like, you can't, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
you
just
can't have
think
10.
8's
10
too
would be
low.
weird, right?
10 is a stupid number. You got to go 8, 12, or 16. Those are the
Yeah,
numbers.
right.
I just
Less
cut
than
one
8's
NA,
too-
one EU, and give one to China and one more to Korea, maybe.
Yeah. That would make sense actually.
But what about Pacific?
It's really sad for China.
Well,
by
the
way.
third
Wow.
will be
China.
Asia. Anybody can win.
One,
and
one to Asia and three
truly,
to Korea.
like
Anyone can win.
with
You mean
Daft
another Korean
playing-
team?
I mean, with Daft playing FTG close, maybe it would be someone from another region, you know, but or like from not Korea, basically. But maybe it's possible. The man can
that's-
dream.
This is
yeah,
fucked.
I don't know.
Like,
I
this
think
whole-
it's tough.
I think it's weird that we have 3. It's still kind of weird that we have 3, 3, and 2.
yeah,
like-
it is.
Well, it's
like
because-
Jake was saying, Korea ideally should have 4 because they are the best teams. But maybe
Can I
it
tell you?
doesn't
Can I
make
tell you
sense,
why?
you're right.
Can I tell you
or
why?
like a mid-season
It
madness.
does, no,
kind
it
of
totally
video.
makes sense. It totally makes sense,
Yeah,
guys.
MSI.
You've totally forgotten about the fact that I'll say it. I'll be the guy to say it. I'll be honest right now. NA and EU teams cheaper to fly to DreamHack. Boom, done. Mic drop.
I
Really,
don't know.
the
Is it
man.
really
I
cheaper
don't
to
know,
fly
man.
from Korea to Europe though? Like at least for the European one, that's got to be about the same as NA, no?
No. You. Well, it's easier to. It's cheaper to fly from NA to NA in Dallas and then
Well,
EU
of course
to
in
EU
Dallas,
Stockholm.
right? But
You
even
got
for
that
Dallas, right? Is
guaranteed.
it cheaper for a European? If I'm
Probably
flying
not.
from like Germany to Dallas, isn't that the
It's
same
probably
as
the
like
same.
Seoul to
It's
Dallas?
like-
It's got to
Yeah,
be
Seoul
about
to
the same.
Dallas, Japan to Dallas.
But the
or
point is,
whatever.
the point is, Korea has to go to either Dallas or Stockholm. Like they have to make that happen. Whereas at least for the NAEU, half the events, 50% of the events, is in their home territory, which is like way cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I kind of get that point, but surely it's not down to like budgetary things. Maybe it's
Nah,
like
bro.
org.
that's
Spread.
it's actually the easiest way to explain everything is budgetary.
Yeah, I mean
I'm that guy
that's-
right now, but like
that is the
easy.
esports like copium or like copium is the.
I just
fucking-
I don't know if it really holds
budget
water
thing.
though, right? Like, isn't it mathematically not that
the
sound?
What do you mean? It's mathematically incredibly sound. You pay. It's like 50% of the flights. It's just cheaper because it's in the home region. You're flying from NA to
Yeah.
NA and the EU to EU. So like, it's whereas 100% of the flights are expensive from Korea. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I feel like it's so marginal though, right? Because for both EU and NA, the other region, it's like one more team could be from Korea. So you have one more team of expensive flights and one less
Yeah.
team of cheap flights. I mean, I don't know.
In the
I do
grand
think
scheme of
it's
things, it is a little bit marginal. I do definitely understand where Jay's coming from.
yeah,
Definitely.
you say that, but
I say that.
but-
I know. I say that, and maybe it is a
Bro,
budget thing,
like,
but
you
my
just-
god, it should not be. I think. Look, I think with how the regions are split right now, it does make sense in a way, like you said, budgetary wise, but it doesn't make sense in like a
if there's
format
no
also.
if there is no better
global
if there is no
esport.
better reason, then in my
it's
opinion,
budget. Yes.
you just go down to the next
Sure.
like best reason, and that comes down to budget.
I wouldn't.
So-
I'm trying to find the Overwatch Korea channel and just see what like viewership they have. Like maybe it's some kind of like breakdown of like popularity of
It's
the
not.
esports.
How could they do that though? Because they organized the format before
Well, I'm trying to
OWCS
find-
started.
How many people actually play Overwatch in Korea right now versus like Valorant and shit?
We have no
Good
idea, bro.
fucking
You'd have to
luck
check
finding
some
that.
PC bunk stats would
numbers.
tell you, but that's the
Yeah.
only way you would know.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Jack's got it on. He's got it bookmarked already. Don't worry about it.
But yeah.
Sometimes it's quite hard to find.
I don't know.
I will look.
Anyway, we don't have to.
I
look,
think we
if
can
got-
all agree, and everyone said it from the get-go that like competitively, it doesn't make sense to have two teams from Korea. They're like they are the best
Well-
region by far. Like if they, if FTG came in and shit, like they probably get top 3. Like
well,
Maybe
I
not.
think
I actually don't know about that. With Daft playing them so close, it seems to me that I would probably predict Toronto or SSG to beat.
yeah, but then
Maybe.
FTG and Falcons play close as well. So it's like there's weird transfer
Yeah,
property right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
man. So it's like, you could also chalk it up to like Daft just being like playing way above their standard too. Like there's a number of ways we can go about it. But what I can say is like it's not even just like FTG versus Falcons. They also, you know, they had a 3-1 versus Crazy Raccoons, who have historically just 3-0'd them every single time. So it's probably like weird that maybe it's not weird, but I feel like the format discussion has been brought up a few times over past discussions here and elsewhere. But I think maybe what's relevant about re-bringing it up this time is just seeing the fact that, okay, FTG are definitely a good team. And that's one of the takeaways I think a lot of fans got from Asia event, is that they are a team that are of the standard, of the caliber to definitely go to Dallas. And, you know, in an ideal world, they would have gone. I think they deserve to go, but it is what
I have
it
the
is,
stats
so.
from November 2023. Yeah.
Go on, son.
44%. Guess that game. I want you to guess. 44%.
League of Legends.
League of Legends.
Yeah, obviously. 10%, and this is gaining more popularity in Korea over the last few years, is FIFA. FIFA Online, yeah. It's been getting like insane popularity. It helps that Sunny is part of Tottenham Hotspur. And like football in general getting more popular over there, which is kind of cool. Then it's Valorante at 6%. Sudden Attack at 5.75. Lost Ark at 5.2. Overwatch is 4.24. Remember, this is November 2023, so it's probably a little bit out of date. I'd imagine Overwatch gained a little bit of popularity again.
Season 9, baby. Season 9.
That
Yeah,
does seem
Season 9,
like, frankly, that does seem like a better explanation for why there's less Korean teams invited. It's just the popularity of the esport is lower.
Yeah, because
yeah, maybe.
I mean, yeah, because as much as people hate to hear it, like esports at some point becomes a marketing exercise.
Yeah, for the game.
And so if,
MTX.
for example, like EMEA
now,
is bigger, you want to like market that region, just like, hey, we have your teams are playing at this major thing, you know, be excited, kind of thing. So I think that would actually make sense. Not from a competitive standpoint, definitely not, because we all know Korea is the best region, but you know.
I'm just going to smile. I'm just going to smile.
Smile and nod, baby.
Just smile. Just
Smile and nod, baby.
All right.
Smile and nod.
We got
That's
a
what
bit,
I'm going to do.
we got a bit off track here. All right. I got some additional questions, but I'm kind of done with Asia here. You know, we obviously talk about Crazy Raccoons, and we'll do more in-depth stuff closer to the event, because I think we're doing like a Dallas preview episode. We can talk about all teams, detailed kind of thing. But
if we're done, I'll just do a quick final like thing on
do your
Asia,
final little thing here,
which is to
Floor
say, I
is
can't believe we're
yours.
done. I thought we were gonna do a bit more and come back around a little bit, do another lap of Asia. But yeah, look, first of all, I'm gonna gloat slightly. Some people may remember on a previous episode of Plat Chat,
oh god,
that a certain panel member made a certain prediction about a certain team winning. And what can I say, fellas? What can I say? I trusted. I had a feeling. I had this inkling. The universe spoke to me. I was like, you know what? I think Crazy Raccoon's gonna win. And oh boy, did they fucking win! Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean, they
good.
kind of dominated.
So yeah, I'm like, I know
insane.
Falcons. I know Crazy Raccoon. I know Korea, and it's just like I felt like the patch was moving in Crazy Raccoon's direction. I feel like, you know, they were going to power up after losing the final, and I know the potential super high. I know the team's extremely good, so I felt it. Felt in my bones. Like, I think this is going to be Crazy Raccoon's tournament. Lo and behold, here we are, baby. Crazy Raccoon's taking it out, and what a huge win for Japan. So you know what? Actually, Jack, Japan stays winning.
Hell
Japan
yeah.
stays winning.
That is true.
Double
Nice
Japan.
raccoons.
I'm ready. I'm ready for the rise of Japanese Overwatch. I'm here for it. I'll be in the front row seat, clapping and high-fiving everybody as they walk past. I'm fucking ready for their domination. Coming in. Promise. They're going to get better. They're in the same region as Korea. They can scrim. Just saying. It's possible.
Oh, by the way, venue was packed for definitely the last 2 days, but even the first 2 days was like 70% full, I would say.
Yeah.
And then maybe, but the Saturday, Sunday, 100% capacity, like to the point where like I couldn't get if I asked the WDG's like, hey, can I snatch an extra ticket for somebody? They're like, no, we're fully sold out. And like I had to sit in my allocated seating as well. I couldn't just fucking sit where I want to do. I had to sit in my allocated seating, or because there was no seats left.
Wow.
It was actually insane. So yeah, the dude, energy in there with like actual good Korean teams, some important games happening. The teams actually have orgs this time, and they're not called whack anymore. They actually have the org. They've got the uniforms.
I think
fucked off,
Wax is a
man. It
pretty
was
great
good.
name, though.
It's a pretty good name, but Crazy Raccoon have like millions of impressions. So I'll take
there
that
he is,
instead.
live.
There he
He's
is.
live. No way.
my favorite influencer.
Yo! Oh yeah, I met I think I talked to a bunch of players and met a bunch of people. Yeah, I got some stories. I don't want to derail this podcast, start talking about the stuff I learned. I think I'll share one story. There was one really fucking cool story that I thought was just so good.
Oh my god!
Aside from, like, guys, it's the IRL experience, guys. The stream melts sometimes because I had to swap Wi-Fi's a bunch of times because, like, I was using my own pocket Wi-Fi and then, you know, also the venue's Wi-Fi, but they have different ranges and different, like, areas where it connects better. I met ENCE partway through the event, and by meet I mean like the first time I actually like shook his hand and I talked to him in person. First of all, great English because he's been on West like mixed teams before. Second of all, he shared a cool story about his 2020 year. This is on my stream as well. His 2020 year, where he dominated on Widowmaker and they won the Overwatch League. That same year, where he was like maybe the best Widowmaker in the world and maybe the best Widowmaker we'd seen at that point. He actually gave a 3-hour, I think, one-on-one lesson to Proper for Hitscan, where Proper had hit him up and said, "Hey, please teach me how to play Widowmaker. Please teach me Hitscan." And so we're watching like Lip versus Proper Widowmaker on like Rialto or something, and ENCE is just talking about, he's just like rating the Widowmaker play, and I'm like asking his spinning. He's like, "Yeah, and I taught Proper, by the way. I taught Proper Widowmaker in 2020. He asked me to teach him." So that's the origin story
fucking
there.
awesome.
That's amazing.
He passed on the crown.
Continues to be the GOAT. One of the best players to ever do it.
Yeah.
That's why Proper's so good today.
That's a sick story, actually.
It was in ENCE's like insane, like pop off, unbelievable best Widowmaker player performance ever year as well. And he took some time out and Proper requested a lesson from ENCE, and ENCE obliged.
Proper paid attention, man.
Wow.
That's a real student of the game.
Yeah, so that's one of the many stories from the adventure that I'll hopefully compile into something a little bit more digestible than several 10-hour streams back to back. So yeah, there's a bunch of players surprisingly spoke really good English. Like, I don't know, I guess I should have expected, but Fate spoke super good English as well.
Oh,
yeah, Fate's English has been good since season 1.
Because he played in Valiant and stuff, right? So it was really good. And yeah, he helped me like talk to some of the Yeti players. There was like, you guys remember Roki from Toronto Defiant?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He got out of the military recently. He got discharged. He finished his service, and now he's one of the observers for the event.
Oh.
And he was telling me how he actually was the guy that discovered Knife. So he was the guy that gave Knife his first team. So that was a fucking story as well. And I don't know if you guys remember Mo Boogie, who was like I think he was head coach of Paris a few years ago before they became a Vegas. He was the guy. He told me that he was the guy that discovered someone. He gave someone his first team.
Wow.
So there's just
a lot of clout being claimed there.
There's just all this new lore. I had all this lore dump on me. I don't know. It was like, this is insane. There's a lot of lore I got out of the event. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Jake, who did you discover?
Who did I discover? I discovered
Juby.
Super.
Super. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a call-out one for sure.
All right.
No, ironically. I mean, not really, but I wanted to. Maybe Super discovered me. I left when I was in like early days of Overwatch, since I'd only played on release, and me and all the guys who played on that the original team together, Bird Noises, were all didn't get into beta, unlike some of the privileged folks on this podcast.
Wasn't me. I didn't get in beta.
I got it super late.
Yeah. But I was on some other team, and then I knew Super tangentially from TF2, like not personally, but he was like so good at tank, and we were like, oh shit, I want to play with this kid. Fuck my old team.
Did Super ever say wanted to play like something else, like DPS or something?
I mean, back in the day, it was really good because Super could play DPS. He was pretty good at DPS. So that was pre-Rollock. So we would we had all these weird. We had a great strat on Hanamura where we would attack with 5 DPS and a Mercy, and it was like guaranteed success on first point. And then a lot of times we'll snowball with DPS ults and just cap second. So it was like I was Pharah getting Mercy pocket, and then I think it was Genji, Tracer, Sombra, Soldier.
Oh my god!
Was the comp.
No.
And it was devious, man, because it's so hard not to get traded by this comp. Like so difficult not to die when 4 DPS, 5 DPS jump on you. Like we wouldn't win the first fight clean, but we would just trade and then cap first with trades, and then sometimes
that's disgusting.
Second. It was actually a nasty strat. There were some crazy cooks back in the day.
What role did he play in TF2? curious. I don't know.
I
actually.
want to say he was a soldier player. I didn't play with him in
Oh,
TF2.
okay.
I think he
Right.
played
Was a
soldier.
soldier
I also
player,
played
yeah. I
so
remember
many
hearing that
soldier players.
somewhere.
So many soldier players ended up being tanks. Very interesting. I guess it's like kind of you. I guess I could sort of see the transition.
Yeah, in a way, if you're like Pocket is kind of a tank role.
Yeah.
Scout is like Scout and Demo are like way stronger than Soldier in TF2 in terms of like actual fighting power at the highest level. And so Soldier is like a lot of like if you die and kill one of those other classes, you're doing good. There's the Roamer who's like just food. You just throw him in there and like hope for the best, and he can do whatever he wants because he's not that important. But then there's the Pocket who gets like usually gets more resource and heal, but is a lot of times just like doing as much damage as they can. It's hard to finish kills, but you're just kind of taking a ton of attention and fighting as well as you can.
Yeah.
I didn't expect a full explanation. I was just asking Jake a question. He just went into.
I'm diving in.
he's got
You
the
talking about
he's got the
TF2, it gets me
encyclopedia out,
excited.
you know?
It gets me
Yeah.
excited, man.
Yeah,
It's
so
an
you
OG.
just-
Hey, what if I tell you?
I'm just saying.
What if I
We
tell
need
you
to
that LG Evil might come up later in this podcast? Stay tuned.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold up.
Okay.
Got me
all right.
intrigued.
Yeah. The only player I think I quote unquote discovered was Munchkin, and then I went on Reddit and was like, "Yo, this Munchkin fella in Korea, he's sick. You watch out for this Munchkin fella." Didn't have the same amount of success in
He's taking over the
Overwatch,
world
but in
in Valorant
Valorant, popped off in Valorant. So who would have thought? Who would have thought of me? Also, Mendo kind of discovered me because I was able. I got to play tank for Mendo's team. So thank you for that, Mendo. Appreciate that. Although Too Good got me into the
And
rogue
you
guys.
discovered Tvik. There you go.
No, Twig was already on the best team in Europe, and then Too Good was like, "Yo, I know this reinforced guy, and I know some French people like Winston AKM, so let reinforced be your tank over Skipjack," and that's how I got in. So that was good times. Skipjack, he was pretty good, but
I
ultimately,
don't even recognize that name at all.
no,
I think I was
no.
still casting League at that point.
He was good. He was a German Reinhardt player. Skipjack, pretty good at the game. He was around in the beta. He was in the convos, He was in the convos in the free agent market. But I got the gig. Anyway, that was
I
8
got
years
the
ago.
gig, he says. All right, talk your shit. No, just kidding.
All right. Let's jump over to the North American region. And here's an interesting question for you guys. After a pretty interesting weekend in North America. For the rest of 2024, if you had to make a prediction, who is going to have the stronger year? Toronto Defiant or M80? Who would you pick have a better 2024?
Ooh.
M80, of course, they won in the upper bracket, looking a lot better with Happy and Pelican on low ping. Or do you remain consistent with Toronto Defiant? They're rock solid. They have their guys. They have their five. Who would you be more comfortable picking for the rest of the year? Best performance at Dallas, best performance end of year finals, stage 3, stage 4, all of it. Who do you think will have a better end to the year?
I still think it's going to be Toronto, and the part of the main reason for that is they have way more flexibility than M80. Just the fact that they have someone, the current reigning MVP on their team, means they can play just about every single composition. They already look really solid. They gelled way quicker as a team together. Ping discussions aside, and they just have they have the backing of Toronto and being able to play. I don't think M80 are in I know they're all in NA, but I don't think they're all in person. Toronto are all in person. They're playing at the facility together. They just have way more going for them, and it would probably be a disappointment. Actually, I would say. I think they would certainly just say this is a disappointment if they fell below M80. So by their own standards, they should be above M80 the entire year, and I think based on their team quality, they should be. Yeah.
I think there's just more to give from this team. There's just more. I just got a feeling. I don't know what it is about it. And I think, again, I think this kind of Toronto Defiant. I think both of them do, yeah. But I think Toronto has a little bit more than M80 to give. And I think, again, it kind of comes back to what I was saying at the start of the episode. The problem is that we don't have a concentration of Korean teams in North America or EU. So I think Toronto has way more to give, and they would be able to do a lot more than they're showing right now, which is obviously still the best in the region. If they were able to perma-scrim Falcons, Crazy Raccoon, etc. Overall, I'd give Toronto more of a say, because as what AVRL said too, with the backing of Toronto Defiant also helps considerably compared to a lot of the teams who don't have like a facility right now. So yeah, I think overall Toronto's still gonna pop off here. And especially with someone's ability to flex, Merit and Sugar Free as well. Like, yeah, their flexibility is just sick.
Jake, what do
I'm
you
curious
think?
if they are scrimming Korean teams. Like, that's my biggest
It
question.
really is so hard to say, like, to be honest, between the two teams. Like, I mean, I felt, especially after seeing M80 win in the lower bracket, if anything, I think M80 is, if you think about the team's current level as like a fraction of what's possible for them, I would say M80's probably has more to climb. Like, whereas Toronto isn't really going to like get uncapped for me in any meaningful way. I don't know if there's like a player you're going to replace on Toronto. I don't know if there's like you need a gel or like, I don't think you're getting that much better on Toronto. Maybe just other than, you know, the thing that every team naturally improves, like playing together more. But M80 for me has like a more obvious like issues that they can realistically iron out and improve a lot in a short period of time. It's like way more doable for them. However, I think we just already know that Toronto's top end is so high that whether
Ridiculous.
M80's getting there or not in the next year, I would still say, based on the grand finals, that M80 just, they still look rough around the edges. I do have faith in those players, though. I think like a lot of the players on that team are really strong players. And so I still have more faith in M80, I think, than maybe some people might, like, after watching the tournament. I still think they could be like a really elite international team on the same level as Toronto in terms of like player strength. I think Happy and Pelican. I mean, I think Pelican, for me, Pelican looks the best he's ever looked in his career. Like on a Tracer, especially, where he's never been like the quote Tracer player. I mean, sometimes he's like always been a good Tracer player, but he's never been like the, we're having you to play Tracer all the time. But he's been that guy this season. And I think that's huge for his potential in his future. I think Happy also like super strong player. I probably would take Toronto in the end since they won the last few tournaments, so they're probably going to stay ahead. But I think if this M80 team has, like, if you look on an even longer time scale than 1 year, maybe like next year, look beyond if these teams stay together, I think I could see, I'm like leaning more towards M80, but for now, I think I'd have to take Toronto. In the end, they're the champs and
I also don't think Sugar Free has reached his full potential either. I think he's still got a lot more to give. Like, especially in Overwatch League, where he wasn't the team. It was okay. It wasn't like the best. It was like very mid, right? It was, I think, almost exactly middle of the table. And I think Sugar Free on a team like this, I think we're going to see some crazy acceleration, like in terms of growth from Sugar Free over the next year. I just think that guy's got so much more because he's just cracked. Like, he is unbelievable right now. And I agree. I think Pelican and Happy, DPS duo currently, like giving Merit and Sugar Free a good run for their money. The DPS coming into it were pretty even. But Sugar Free, I still think has got a lot to, not to improve on because he's already a sick player, but like I still think it's uncapped potential for Sugar Free.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I actually think that Pelican and Happy, I'd probably want Pelican and Happy as my damage duo for the rest of the year. I really do think they're that good. But I think Toronto Defiant has the edge when it comes to like dive compositions. You know, if we have to play like Winston compositions or something like that, I just think Toronto Defiant is better. I respect Hawk's Winston, but not to the same level of someone or some of the elite Winston players in the game. You know, and I think that's where the argument kind of comes from.
Double flex is like another thing where like, can they play double flex like super well?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably
that's
not,
point.
but like, what team right now can play double flex at a high level? Also, Lucio's never going to get fucking nerfed, so
honestly,
we don't need to worry
gonna
about
be
that.
pretty good. I think Vega is actually quite good at flex.
Yeah,
sure.
Better than most people think.
Yeah, that's fair. And like, I think a lot of teams are going to struggle. Dude, that pulse one was so funny. He was like, just yeeted over the wall, tried to get a stick. That would have been insane if he actually landed there. Yeah, I think. I don't think Lucio's ever going to be not meta. I'd be very surprised if we ever go back to a Zen meta, for example, unless he gets like Omega buffed. Maybe Alari's like crazy, not sure. Doubt it though. I'm still smoking that Alari pack, bro. God damn, that character's so fucking good. I was saying on stream the other day, it actually might be the most fun character since Ana. Like, not joking. In terms of support, I've been playing it recently, been fucking grinding the shit out of that character. God damn, please make Alari good, but you need the main healer. Kind of sucks for Lucio.
Man is still playing Alari, right?
I'm still smoking that Alari
God.
pack. I will smoke it until I fucking die. It's so fun. Like, I don't know. It's just so fun. Just the voice when people
playing
start
a support
flaming.
character that kills people. Yeah.
It's good shit, dude. It's good shit. But I think, double flex might be a little bit of an issue. Vega, maybe can come up real big, but I don't think there's many teams right now that can play double flex to like an Overwatch League level where we saw like Violet, for example, but fucking double flex with Violet on the team. That's just not possible right now. But that's another like small weakness, I suppose. But comparatively, it's not actually that much of a weakness at all.
Yeah. I think both teams are really good, but I think Toronto Defiant is going to be the better for the rest of the year. You just have to bet on their flexibility. They're so good in that regard, and that's why they put together this specific 5 as well. So it was a really entertaining weekend. I think the North American bracket, WCS was like some of the most entertaining Overwatch we've had in quite a while, of course, because like the storylines, Luminosity, Citrus Nation, Students of the Game, like the entire bracket was just like really fun to follow, and a lot on the line. It felt like all the time. So, and then you had these two teams going at it. So that was really entertaining. All right, moving on. And again, we'll cover these teams more in depth as we do like Dallas preview stuff. Next thing, I changed these around, Solomon, a little bit, so don't be caught off guard here. But since we just talked about NA, is Students of the Game definitively the third best team in North America over Luminosity and TSM? Formerly Timeless, now TSM.
Oh yeah, TSM.
I
do think the TSM question is
Timeless SM.
Honestly. TSM question very interesting to me. Like hard to. I mean, I do feel like they just kind of choke, right? To not qualify. So I don't think we can say anything definitively yet about top 3, especially because I do think it's actually pretty competitive between a lot of those teams, like the teams you mentioned, right? I do think there's genuine like parity between all those teams.
It is, but if you made a power rankings, you would put Students of the Game as number 3 over some of these other teams.
I mean, yeah, for now, right? Because like in the end, I think you got. I mean, I believe in recency bias, like that. Like, yeah, if you're like winning right now, it's like good reason to think you're the best,
Yeah,
well,
it's reductive.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought TSM were broke as fuck. I thought they were out of it with the whole like FTX thing. I was like, wait, is this team like still around? Because
but how much do you think they paid? How much do you think they paid though? Because I don't think Overwatch roster is the most expensive right now.
Probably
no. I think
not.
it's because the Overwatch rosters are relatively cheap. A lot of orgs are getting in. I mean, that's the reality of grassroots. So is like the market sets a price, and then orgs might actually be willing to pay that
TSM
price.
Have? I'm curious now. TSM. Because they have the Apex Legends, right? And that's definitely the most successful roster currently in like esports, I think. Even though they didn't win Apex in LA, the LAN recently. That was a Japanese team actually. Oh no, Japanese team, but it's Korean players. But do they have a league team? I think they do. I'm just looking now. Damn, it's kind of sad to see like a team that's so like historically well known for like good performance across many esports to
actually
lose like League of Legends team.
We can basically assume, by the way, that this is obviously these pickups take a while to happen and announce and all that kind of stuff. So likely what had happened is Timeless came second in stage 1. They got this TSM deal underway, and then they lost in stage 2 before they could announce, and then they had to announce after they fucking lost.
Yeah, that
so
seems
that's
like
really sad. Like, that's like actually really very fucking sad. For everyone, and TSM probably thought they were going to go to Dallas. Not only the org but the team as well. So it's actually really fucking tragic if you think about that.
Other orgs probably thinking about ESWC too, though, right? In terms of getting
of course. The priority for TSM is they want to go to EWC. We get that, but they would have probably preferred to go to Dallas because they thought they had a top 3 team on their hand, a top 2 team on their hands. And I actually still, to address Johnny's original question, I'm still fairly Timeless pilled or TSM pilled. I still think this team is really, really good. But yeah, they choked. They fucking choked.
Yeah,
if they can get over the choking, this team is nuts. I'm glad they're second round because there were some serious questions after they lost. I'm like, okay, does the team stay together or not? Like, can they survive through this choke? And given that they've been signed to org, the answer is yes. I'm glad, but man, I don't want to see them choke again. I want to see them play their potential.
They've got 3 Esports World Cup teams too. Is there any fighting games actually? Because they have Rocket League and they have Apexes. I knew the Apex team. I didn't know much about Rocket League, but they got a Rocket League team as well. So yeah, they're going to be hella involved in the Esports World Cup, which is kind of cool.
You could say, if you wanted to be a true downer, you could say that in the brackets, Students of the Game. Yeah, I would never say this, but if theoretically, of course, you could say that Students of the Game only beat PIP, FMCL, and Citrus Nation without lethal. On their way there, and they beat FMCL in their group too to advance. So they didn't actually play Luminosity, and they didn't play now TSM. So, but they did have a pretty all right stage 2, and they had a good stage 2 or stage 1 and stage 2. So they advanced. But playing Citrus Nation without lethal, not maybe the way to prove yourself, prove your strength. That's why it's a pretty interesting question, you know. They did also lose 2-0 to M80 in the Face It match I saw. But interestingly enough, they also they got Collusion 3 in their lineup as well for Face It. But it is roster locked for Dallas, so they won't have them in Dallas, of course. But in Face It, they're actually playing with 3 and Collusion. I don't know if they play in the games themselves, but they're listed on Wikipedia. So,
it's good to see more orgs involved. It's good shit.
That is,
I hope
that is true.
for the rest of the year they like kind of stick around.
It certainly adds legitimacy for us, so we take those.
Good shit. Good job, TSM. Oh, there we go. Esports World Cup. TSM. There we go. Loud. T1's there as well, which is kind of cool. Like that a lot.
Yeah, where's the T1 Overwatch team, guys? The fuck happened?
Dude, that would be
Unlucky,
so fucking awesome, bro. If T1 came up, Faker's like, let me just whip out the check real quick. I own 55% of this org. Let me start an Overwatch team.
When the teams are actually like qualified for Esports World Cup, surely there's like a bit of a land grab where like all these orgs just look at the qualified Overwatch teams and are like, oh, guys, who doesn't have an org?
Sign the team who qualified.
Oh,
I think
guys,
gonna go.
guys.
Do you want $300?
Dude, there's a rumor for some Saudi org picking up FTG.
Really?
Yeah, I read that actually. I did read
There's a
that.
rumor
didn't
about
see
some.
that.
I can't
Could be-
remember.
I don't know what big Saudi org is. It was like maybe it was Rocky Esports. I have no idea. There must be another big Saudi org I don't know about. But because I was thinking like, maybe T1 should just get FTG. Like they're a good enough team. Then I'm like, no, well, hang on. FTG are spoken for apparently. So it's just Yeti left. Like if T1 won a team, it's
I mean,
just
they
Yeti
could
left.
pick up Yeti. I mean, obviously
could.
they haven't qualified.
Yeah,
but...
I could see T1 getting involved. You know, I could see didn't Sir Majid tweet some Face Clan thing before? Maybe there's been some discussions there in the past. 100 Thieves, G2, Fnatic, Cloud9, like the classic teams. Like I could definitely see them
Fnatic, we're
getting
looking
involved.
for an EU team. Fnatic, we're shopping EU for a while.
There we go.
Yeah.
So there's definitely
do we know if they're
once the
still
teams are
shopping?
qualified. Sorry, what is
No
it?
idea.
Are they still
I don't know.
shopping, AVRL?
No idea.
No idea.
I just wait. Like if I was the orgs, I'd just wait for teams to qualify, and then it'd be like a bidding war for.
Well, okay. So Christopher said this publicly, so whatever, I can repeat it. But they were the team talking to Fnatic back in the day before SSG came in. And I can't remember what happened. I don't know if either Fnatic backed out or SSG had a better offer, but they chose SSG. So that's what happened there. That is
SSG's
public
cool.
information, so I'm not leaking anything.
Curious if Fnatic are still going to try and push for that for thingy. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of sick.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Be kind of cool to have Fnatic back in, bro. They got to, goddamn, one of the last players they had was fucking Custo. Got to get that man's name off that jersey, bro. He's
Whoa!
washed.
Whoa, hey, what is it?
Hey yo!
Well,
Friend of the show, friend of the show.
Here.
That's true, he's not here. You can mercilessly trash talk him now.
Yeah, exactly. That's his
Dude,
fault. he's on
that
the show,
was
bro.
one hell of a
Look at
lineup.
this.
And like
Solomon's got a-
Stoop, yeah, Stoop, Buds.
Look at
Dude,
him. There he is. Cool Matt. 69.
Matt.
Let's go. Buds
Yeah,
as well. Reels
healthy
as
cool.
well. God damn.
yeah. I played some ranked with Reels a couple of times. Pretty
Look at that
good,
man.
pretty good IGL, but never
Holy.
broke through. Wow, there he is.
It's a rolling six pack
He's
under
here,
that
he's
jersey.
back.
Rolling six pack. Yeah, but I just wait for the teams to qualify, and then I think there will be some orgs picking up the teams to qualify.
Oh, sure,
Esports World Cup.
surely.
That makes the most sense to me. But there you go. All right, moving on to EMEA.
Let's go.
This would be such a first take topic right here. Will ENCE fall off without Gunba as their head coach?
Oh my god. That is...
Now, this is a good question. This is an interesting take.
I think Crimso was now promoted to head coach. They brought back Ghost 91 to the active roster.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize that Ghost 91 was actually not on the active roster. I thought he was just benched.
I mean,
but
I don't know.
allegedly
What
he's
does
on
that,
the
what does that mean? Active roster? Like,
I
it's
don't,
like, doesn't
I don't know.
mean
He was on the inactive roster. I honestly
It means
don't
we're
know.
not going to venture anymore.
I don't even know if it's just
Like, what
ignorance or what. But
No. The not active roster is not a real thing. There's no way. I mean, like, what is that? That literally is meaningless. That's just like words you said. Like, there's no active roster and not active. You don't like. I don't know. Maybe they like have an excuse to pay him less or something. Maybe, but it's like there's no way. There's no you can like you're on the roster. You can be in the face-it match. You know what I mean? Like there's no like, oh, he's on the roster, but he's not active, so he's not out of the play. No, that's not how it works. You can't add somebody to the roster now. He was always on the roster, and basically they're just saying he's.
I think they're just saying, Pog, look, he's playing. Everybody, look at this guy.
One could say I know there was talks that he was like doing something with school or something, that he was like busy in real life, but like I'm pretty sure I heard elsewhere that like they wanted that like he was competing for playtime, but they just figured Crimso was the better one because of comms or whatever, something like that.
Comms and
experience.
experience.
But I think Ghost 91 probably has a higher individual ceiling than Crimso. I think that's probably pretty fair.
Yeah, it's a young talent.
Sure.
His BAP is good for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think Crimso might have a deeper hero pool. I don't know. I haven't seen Crimso that much off BAP, frankly.
I don't know. Everyone says that Ghost is like a BAP one trick, right? So is there like is a hero pool issue for Ghost as well?
That's part of the first take kind of topic. It's just like you had 2 flex supports allegedly competing for playtime. Your head coach, the coach of the year, retired, and now you're promoting your quote unquote better flex support player to be your head coach. How's this going to affect how does this affect ENCE's legacy?
To be honest, I think they'll be fine. I mean, I think the player quality is so high, like they'll be fine. I don't think I don't know. For me, especially with the potential of like hero bans coming into the scene, I feel like that's the way we're going. Maybe I'm wrong and it won't go that way, but I feel like it's going that way in Overwatch. I think the game is, we've always known, I feel that the game was like soon to be ready for it. And now I feel more and more, it's like, okay, it's more and more convincing that the game is in fact ready for it. And so for me, like that is going to nerf coaches across the board. Basically, I think coaching is going to matter less and less. And I basically think player quality matters more and more. Even Overwatch 2, I think player quality matters more and more, and coaching matters less and less. Like everything about the game is more dynamic, more fast-paced, more quick decision-making. Overwatch 1 was so heavy on like setups and like strategy that was like fully prepared. That's not how Overwatch 2 is, or I mean a little bit, but that's been the biggest strategic shift at the highest level, is that it's a much more dynamic game than it was.
I just until we do get to actual hero bans, like we don't even know if that's actually going to be a thing yet. It's just like it's talking about it, but until we actually get there, I think coaches still have a lot of input. So I do think this team will look different without Gunba, because he is a very like he's an aggressive leader.
He was the coach of the year. Like he had impact for sure.
I mean, you can see he's one of those coaches where you can definitely see what he does on the team and what his impact is on the team. And so the team style will change a lot, and it will depend on what Crimso's style is. But then again, Crimso hasn't coached sport. This is Crimso's first time coaching, right? So, and he was playing for more than half the time he was apparently coaching this team. So he's stepping into some big shoes here. So this is going to end up being probably like a very heavily player-led team now. And yeah, I think their style will just change a lot. There's probably going to be some teething pains and a lot to get used to here. I think I agree with Jake in the sense that like over time, given the play quality, things should be fine. But in the short term, I don't know, man. Like I hope they can get organized. If they can maybe have enough of the lingering effects of Gunba with Crimso's experience working with Gunba during that time to carry them over the event of Dallas and maybe a little further, they've got a month through. But,
like I just don't see. I see the team being impacted in the short term, sure. In the long term, probably not. Like then they've got a little while until Dallas. Obviously, new meta, so maybe you could argue that Gunba would have been a massive impact then, and he probably would have been in terms of like getting the team ready for a new meta, etc. But I think in the long term, this team is going to be pretty okay. Like the player power is still there, and like
I just think
going off of how the region looks anyway, like are they going to be not top 2 anymore? Probably not.
I don't think that's the goal though. They set up to be number one in the region. Sure. So like I think space stations have already caught up in various ways, and like they're kind of showing that you can't just like individual skill gap your way through this region, where like space station they're able to catch up in mechanics and skill, and then Christopher's another coach of the year on top of that. So yeah, I mean, I think ENCE have a.
You
not
think you can skill gap the region? I think you're smoking crack if you don't think.
Have they skill gap the region? That's a good question.
Okay, they're not ranked 1. They're not
like,
rank
easily.
1, but they're going to be rank 2, like perma minimum, right? Because I
Is that
don't
good
think
enough for the
any
team?
teams like no,
is being
but I'm
ranked
not
2?
saying if it's good enough for the fucking team. I'm saying this team is not going to lose their like. It'll be a crazy fucking upset if they like, oh, they come fourth or something in EU.
Let's be
No, I'm not
real.
talking about Dallas.
Like
are they going to lose to PEPS and Twisted Minds? I mean, Twisted Minds maybe.
Peps is catching
like,
up.
maybe
Peps is
not,
catching
like,
up, dude.
it-
Twisted Minds have a new team next stage. Twisted Minds have a new team next stage. You
Yeah,
gotta
I
be
mean, this was
concerned.
a horrible Twisted Mind stage. That'll be better at stage 3, stage 4.
Like, ENCE got to be careful, man. Like, could they slip down a fourth? It's not impossible, bro. I mean, other teams are catching up. And yeah, let's TM. We can just forget about this TM stage. It's like there's some bullshit happened, but
Sure,
TM
yeah.
have a high likelihood of bouncing back next stage. You know, with
I
their
just
new
don't
team.
think on the individual player quality. I just do not think this team is going to slip below second.
So,
I think
okay.
it'll be a crazy upset if that's the case.
All
I mean, I
right.
think also the meta is like I think even in a dive meta, I'll take them first. Like
Sure.
regardless, like if it's a rush meta, yeah, probably SSG has the edge. But in a dive meta, I don't think anyone's surpassed them.
We confirm whether Chase is going to Dallas yet.
I mean, holy shit. I've never even spent a calorie thinking about that.
Yeah, one would assume. I feel like unless they said he's not. I mean, he's like actively starting in matches, so
Again, he's in Ukraine, so I don't know if he can exit or not. I still actually have no idea.
I have no idea.
who knows?
no
Yeah,
idea.
actually, that's a good point.
Um,
Does he actually live in Ukraine though?
Yes.
He might not. He might live in the EU. Okay, well.
No, he lives in Ukraine.
Yeah.
How do you know? Do you know where he lives?
I don't know the city, bro. I
We
don't,
don't
I don't know
know.
his
We don't
fucking address, dude.
I mean, I know
Give me
he's
the-
Ukrainian, but wouldn't a lot of Ukrainians not live in Ukraine right now? because of
Apparently,
the
he
war?
actually lives in Ukraine. Like literally
Okay.
lives in Ukraine.
Yeah. I mean, I look. This is as much as I can speak out of my ass as I ever
Yeah.
can. But like, I have no idea about how
True ignorance.
a Ukrainian actually gets a visa to travel to Dallas for an esport event.
It's
Like,
not a
I have
visa.
no idea.
The visa's not the issue. It's whether his own country allows him to leave or not. So that's the only reason I brought this up is because like his own team wasn't 100% sure. They picked him up without knowing fully if he could leave the country or not. This is from the horse's mouth. From
Why
their own
would
team.
his own country stop him from leaving?
Because he's a military age male.
Correct?
Fuck, I didn't think of that. Okay, all right. You know what?
Yeah.
I received my point.
I do think they mentioned some point. I think Gunba spoke about it on Coachable or something that like they even picked him up in the first place because he was eligible for some exemption or something like that. So I think it'll be figured out. I would be optimistic that he will be there because I do think they spoke about it.
Gumba's the type of guy that would pick him up just to fuck EXO and just to like allow them an
come on
easier
now.
pathway. No,
I don't want to admit it, but it's actually so true.
This is this is what do you mean come on now? This he admits to doing this. He admits it openly. What the fuck do you mean come on now? He does this openly.
it's actually so Gunba. It's so Gunba.
Yeah,
It attracts
and
such a
also
big
like it doesn't matter. Even if the story was okay, we'll qualify with Chase and just play for Solar Land, they would still do that just because it's easier pathway. That's genuinely how I don't know about ENCE, but how specifically Gunba works. So yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I actually think that it's like a more interesting topic. If you truly want to go down the like the kids are on the table chatting about the future events, I actually think this is a really interesting topic because Gunba, I think Gunba was like, by all accounts, like a really good presence to have, like it keeps things honest. It provides perspective, and it's particularly he's very open and transparent about it. He's incredibly transparent for a head coach to come out there and talk about his players, where they do good, where they do bad. Why he subbed out Vestola to put in Chase at the end of the grand final series because Vestola, I didn't think his mind was in the game or whatever. Like this is transparency that we haven't ever received from head coaches in Overwatch, right? And so I actually think that Gunba had a lot of impact on this roster when it comes to accountability and providing like a bird's eye perspective on what is going right and what is going wrong for this roster, making calls about what comps are working, because I think sometimes we can almost give too much credit of their read as they're actually scrimming, as they're actually practicing, because sometimes you don't have the best understanding of what is actually going on with the entire team, like the macro game as an entire team, if you're just a single player. So for example, if you're Kevster and you're playing Tracer, it's actually I would actually, well, I don't know if I want to talk about Kevster specifically, but if you talk about Tracer players in general, like sometimes you don't always know what is going on in the head of your Winston player and like what is wrong, why you're not synchronizing and like fixing those issues. I think Jake would have more to say on this topic because you've actually coached in the past, but I actually do think that having a head coach that holds you accountable and provides really good feedback on what is going wrong and what you're doing right and doing like that can have tremendous impact on this team. So as we kind of step away from the ENCE Esports with Gunba as the head coach, who keeps this team, keeps the accountability in place, and now moves over to Crimso, who Crimso's gonna have to prove himself as a head coach in some regard, because we don't have any prior history to really look at here, right? And so I just think it's a really interesting situation. Are ENCE Esports like the fundamentals and like sometimes a head coach can be really important in like keeping players strict, right? Like mindset going into practice, discipline within practice, and to not slack on like fundamentals and stuff like that. Having impact on like shot calling, maybe someone's talking too much, too little. All the stuff a head coach does. Gunba had invaluable experience in this role, right? And so I actually think I'm really curious to see how ENCE Esports perform over time. They have sick individual talent, but without Gunba, is there a moment where like stage 3, stage 4, maybe they come into some issue? Who's going to play tank? Is Chase or Vistola going to be the first option? Stuff like this, right? These are questions, like coaching questions, like who's going to be your primary main tank and when, that they'll have to make calls on. And without Gunba, I would have less faith just based on like I don't trust their prior experience, right, to make these calls, right? And so I actually do think it's a pretty interesting question going into stage 3 and 4, how ENCE Esports will do without Gunba for the rest of the year, and see if any of this impacts the team over a long enough time horizon. I do think you're right, Jaws. I don't see a competitor for ENCE Esports right now outside of Twisted Minds maybe leveling up. I don't think PEPS can get there, but especially for like international competition, it gives me less confidence going up against like Korean teams without Gunba.
I don't have any confidence in a lot of the fucking Western teams going against Korean teams. I'm gonna be fucking honest with you. I think that's a bit of a. I
actually did though. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I actually did. I had some faith in ENCE Esport against Korean.
Against some of the Korean teams, dude, they're way too stacked. I mean. Yeah, I mean,
shit, and like he knows how to win,
and they have Kevster
with Gunba. To be fair, yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. I'll give you that one, especially with Gunba going into an international event. It probably is going to hurt them a little bit, like going into Dallas. Over time, though, like I mentioned before, I think they're going to be okay. I'm curious how Crimso is going to start into this coach role, because I think Crimso, who's been around for such a long fucking time, is pretty damn smart when it comes to the game. Like, this could be a really big kind of moment for him in his career where he could turn around to be just a phenomenal coach. And like with a team that he has right now, I think there's a lot of promise for Crimso too there. And it does suck to see Gunba leave, because he was part of Florida fucking Mayhem. Like that was an insane run from that team, just an unbelievable playoff run. And then also winning the whole thing. I think it does suck, but I think there's still a lot of hope for the team. I still don't know how well they would have done in international competition. Maybe I'm overrating the Korean teams like to the nth degree, but I don't know.
Maybe I'm overrating Kevster.
Kev's
does have history of doing that in the past. So
yeah, I mean, Kev's insane. Also, one of my favorite moments from the finals when he stole the bot on Colosseo and just ran it away from
crazy.
Space Station. That shit was so funny.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite moments from the finals.
All right. I want to get to the last kind of question here, recapping of WCS, and it's just talking about the teams that weren't like among the top teams or whatever. So if you had to pick a player, who do you think is the best talent on PEPS, Citrus Nation, or FMCL? I didn't pick students of the game because we just picked one of those students of the game players. But
what
I think PEPS, Citrus Nation, FMCL, or like on the outside.
You mean best of like one player out of all 3 teams?
Yeah, I pick one player who like I could see this player joining like a top team. I was like really, I was impressed by this player. Yeah,
Exodile. I think
you think he's there? You think he's there already?
I think he's got potential. No, I don't know about already. I think the potential's there. When I watch it, I've never seen Exodile before this year, and yeah, I mean the potential's so high for this kid. So yeah, I think Exodile is on the come up for sure. Young player, 17.
Yeah.
Huge win for Spain as well. I think we got surprisingly a lot of Spanish players coming out of the woodwork. And every time I see PEPS, man, every time I see Exodile on any team actually, but on PEPS currently, yeah, the dude's popping off. So I'm here for it.
I was going to say the same thing. Motherfucker. Yeah, wow. I think
you can take Tread. You can take Tread.
Take Tread? No, I'll take Exodile.
Not a Tread head. Not a treadhead.
Not a treadhead.
unlucky.
I mean, he's pretty decent, but I think Exodar was come out of the almost the unknown and just fucking popped off and like actually stood up to some of the OGs, some of the like vets in the scene in the EU. I think it's an impressive showing from a player that is still so young. And we're definitely in a time now where it's like these EU players that have never been looked upon by Overwatch leagues, gays, like they will never get picked up by, you know, even NYXL or whoever the other like bottom tier teams that were normally like feeder teams for the Overwatch League. And now it's time for the EU players that have been around for a little while in the scene, but not been on big teams to really show up. And I think Exodar was the perfect example for that. Almost, I'm not going to call him like a poster child for like EU Overwatch or anything, but like he's almost like what you wanted to see from EU and these other regions as well, to be fair. You can include NA in that regard as well, where like outside of Overwatch League, they were unknown and now they're on a main stage, OWCS, and it's like, holy shit, this player is fucking sick. Like, yeah, Exodar was a really good choice. And he's very young too, which is always good because then you have so much more room to grow, right? And you have a lot of time on your hands.
Heck, you should pick Exodar as well.
I already have
Exodial?
FMCL is an option, right? FMCL.
Yeah, FMCL is an option. They got a couple of good guys on there.
Pick that up and coming player Seeker. He's real up and coming, I hear.
He is an up and comer, actually.
And genuinely, right? You've got to talk about Seeker if you're going to talk about FMCL. Although I don't know, like
Seeker is 19, by the way, guys. Don't treat him like he's 21.
That's true. That's true. If he's 21, then he'd be super old, but he's
Yeah,
19,
exactly.
so he's got.
He's not there yet.
He's already in the middle ages. 19, you're already like, you're basically 40
wait,
at this
what,
stage.
what
you
are
know?
the teams again? We get
We got PEPS, so you know, Exodial, but we also have FMCL. We got Seeker, Maimon, Leprenko, Ariel. You got Citrus.
Yeah, we could also consider Lethal. I think is worthwhile.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah,
I think Lethal was really
I think
sick.
Lethal looked really good, and he also was like it seems to be like a real leader on that team, which is like a big thing. It like helps a lot for your team. It can be hard to do, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a good sign for the team.
Yeah, there you go. All right, bonus question before we leave here. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute, okay? Say Dallas happens. Students of the game, they don't do too well. Students of the game, they bomb out, but they're like, hey guys, great experience playing in Boston. A couple of weeks later, you know, playing some Faceit. I don't know why I said Boston. I don't even remember the context I said
because
Boston.
infected. It's named Boston.
Dallas happens. All right, 2 weeks after playing Faceit, whatever, preparing for Esports World Cup, all that happens. Gator calls. Bring. Hey, infected. We need a main tank on M80. Infected. Would you care to join M80? What do you think?
I don't think they'll do that because I think Hawk really is trying to be an Overwatch 2 elite tank player and play upper hero. And I think honestly, Hawk's Winston has looked quite good to me. So I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna be all in on Hawk for me. I think that's
hypothetically, if it did happen, I agree with Jake. But hypothetically, if it did happen, infected goes.
It's another
I mean,
chase
he'd
of
be
the game
crazy
to join
not to,
M80.
no? Like,
So,
he'd be
of
crazy
course
not
he
to.
goes. It's an M80 are paying org and it, like with an elite team. It's another chase torch situation. He leaves straight away.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even think there'd be like really hard feelings about it. To be honest, I guess it depends for infected. If he like how if he doesn't want to take the game that seriously, maybe he wouldn't. But I think for any player, if you want to take the game super seriously, you want to join. If there's a better team to join, you'll join them, right? And I think it's pretty fair to say there's a tier break between M80 and the rest of the NA teams.
Every student's got to graduate.
Damn. Damn.
So true. Wow, so true.
Real, actually.
I think, yeah, I have a good feeling he would leave too, right? I mean, you want to go to an org. Yeah, that's it. Full stop. You want to go to an org. I think that's it. I think Infected's got a lot of potential too.
Oh yeah, he's one of the fan favorites in all of the OWCS, I'd say.
Yeah, he's a great player. I think he's been fun to watch for a long time, honestly.
Yeah. So there we go. All right, just presented the case. We'll see what happens. All right, let's we'll talk more about the OWCS teams as we get closer to Dallas, not Boston. Anyway, let's quickly chat about tank changes. real quick here. There were some. Let's talk about the patch notes first. Just some quick little patch notes. Internal server error. Thank you, Blizzard. Can't get the patch notes up. But anyway, you got them up. Great. So some quick changes here to Orisa and also to Venture. They also changed the damage roll passive from 15 to 20%. To tank players, they cried out. They cried out because they had no idea what was coming at this moment in time. But then these changes were reduced. So I guess the most basic question that we can answer quickly: is Orisa dead? Is Orisa dead?
Pretty dead. I don't know. I'm not like full dead. Like I think you would probably still play it against like Doomfist or some of these heroes it's like so good against, but this is a extreme.
Wait, this is crazy.
You've
Wait,
been
this
cooking
is
on this.
insane.
You've been cooking on this. I saw
This is amazing.
What the Johnny's just hiding in the bottom right.
This is incredible. This is some of your best work, Solomon.
Dude, Jack, you're wearing the wrong shirt. You got to be in a red shirt, and
You gotta be in the red.
perfect.
What the fuck? Yeah, wait, Jake's on the blue, Apple's on the gray,
Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
I'm
be in
not
the red.
red
you
shirt.
didn't know
I'll
about
come-
this? You didn't know about
I'll
this
come
segment? I
prepared-
thought we were
I'll
all
come prepared.
proud.
Oh my god.
Oh my God,
You gotta lock in, Jack. Come on.
This is gonna be Plat Chat.
Seriously.
This is gonna be a screenshot right here. This is perfect.
This is
Plat Chat
great,
guarantee.
Solomon. I love you.
Orisa dead.
This is incredible. Wow.
Your greatest
did.
work.
All right,
I
go to work,
fucking
guys.
hope
It's Orisa
so.
dead. Go to work.
God damn, I fucking
Yes,
hope so.
yes.
Pretty dead.
She
Pretty
is
dead.
one of the heroes. I'm going to put it
Competitively.
on the list. Orisa's on the top of the list. Should never be meta. Mauga should never be meta. Mercy should never be meta. Sombra should. Well, Sombra's not that bad. Yeah, but yeah, definitely a hero
Like,
on the
okay.
list of like, okay, this is. If the game is revolving around this one fucking character, the game's bad. The game's in a bad way.
I don't hate Orisa as much as you do. I just don't want to see a mirror. I don't want to see Orisa versus Orisa. I think Orisa
Well,
versus
that-
other
that's
heroes,
the
where other heroes
problem.
have a chance.
I
then
think
it's
you
fine.
can only ever see that when Orisa is like strong. You will more often than not only ever see those mirrors on like certain maps. You can change up, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I want to see a situation where she's playable, and like but other teams will play other stuff, and you'll see something different versus Orisa, and that would be great.
This is the
But-
change to do that. Like this will I think do that. I don't think she's fully dead. I agree with Jay because especially if teams are playing Doomfist and stuff, Spear is so good, and like Spin is also really sick at like getting rid of divey characters that want to get in your face. Not that good against like Diva and stuff because Diva's thrusters are like super low cooldown, but Orisa it will be maybe playable if Doomfist is like strong, and like I'm not sure how strong Doomfist is right now or like will be on this patch in like pro play. So yeah, I think this is a good spot for Orisa to be in. I think this actually might even the tank field like a lot.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where like I've been like, oh, I kind of want to swap Orisa in this game right now, and then I'm like, wait a minute, do I really swap Orisa here? I'm not sure. Maybe that's not
Safest
great.
character in the game. It's the character that you just fall back on when you know you're just getting fucking pounded.
Dude, the Fortify change feels so bad with the
That's good,
movement
man.
speed.
I mean, there's so many negative changes all at once. I don't know. It's like a pretty crazy nerf, honestly. I think they might have overdone it, but maybe it's better to overdo it because Orisa was just out of control.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%. I think that
Orisa also
genuinely
doesn't benefit as much as other heroes from the headshot change.
One of the
because she
best
couldn't be headshot
changes
sometimes.
is that 20% slow when fortified. Because there was nothing more fucking stupid than have Orisa just WM1 at you while fortified and you can't do shit. Like that actually, that's like lore accurate. She goes golden, she is heavier. Makes sense.
Okay.
So she
No,
moves.
I
She's just
actually,
more
I
accurate.
mean, she
More accurate. Help.
she doesn't have a shield or anything. Like, let Orisa live, you know? Like, play Fortify, you
This
press
is not-
Fortify. If you press Fortify and, like, go in, like, have at it. Like, enjoy.
No, because no one else is enjoying that situation. No one else on the roster enjoys that.
It runs
Like,
out and then she's dead. All right?
Dude, this guy.
The cooldowns are
This
up.
guy leaving a hate comment on my tweet.
It's
Like
3.5
saying, "Oh,
seconds. You can live for 3.5 seconds, Joss, before Orisa dies because they don't have any abilities
that
anymore.
fucking hero out of my game. Shit
I
sucks.
think this was the wrong nerf. Like I think it's weird. It just feels clunky, right? Oh, you don't want to be slowed down. It's super weird. I think the right nerf would have been what I suggested. I think last episode or at some point in public where I basically said you just got to get rid of the headshot immunity during Fortify. You should be
Sure.
allowed to headshot Orisa. That's it. If they just did that instead, I think that'd be a better nerf.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
think that
especially
should
to
be a
go
bad
with the next
change at
changes,
all.
right? So,
Yeah, I think that'd
I
be
don't
pretty
know.
good.
I like the slow nerf. I think it's like Fortify is that like there's just no counter for most of the heroes. It's like the only counter to Fortify is running away.
Thank you.
and
Yes.
because there's no interaction with it, even if you could headshot her, honestly, I don't know if that would. It's like a weird thing because certain heroes could still maybe fight, but realistically, it's so unlikely you can actually fight her. It's more like if she's looking at somebody else, you could be headshotting her while she's fortified, which is like that's nice for your team or something like that. But I think with like the ult making you like immobile, so you just get you get like headshot 10 times while you're ulting. I don't know. It's like I think in a way the headshot thing is like kind of silly, but especially because of the way the ult works, it almost like has to be that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like so for me, I think the slow is actually really good because you can like you're still really tanky, and if you want to just hold a position and tank and trade with the enemy tank, it basically doesn't matter that you're slowed. The thing it really hurts you on is that like that really dumb thing about Orisa when you're like on the Ana and you spin and you run at the Ana and then you gold and you just like kill her and she has no opportunity to interact with you. At least if you're slowed, you can like now the counterplay is run away from Orisa, but now that's actually accessible to heroes that are not highly mobile heroes who were already fine against Orisa because they just ran away already.
As someone who was the Orisa in that situation, that was really fun to do.
Yeah, all the Orisa.
Yeah, I mean, I like playing Orisa too. When I play tank, I just get in there and I'm like drilling the back line, killing them off. You know, it's like it's great, but it's obviously it's problematic, right? I can accept that it's problematic.
If there should be a point where you pop a CD in this counterplay, and Fortify just was not that. Fortify does not have a counterplay, or didn't.
Yep.
Now it does because you can run.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
I respect your support perspective, Joss. I do. So
you don't respect my DPS perspective.
I like Alari.
Well,
I
you
like
said you were kind
Alari.
of on my same page with it's fun to play Orisa and run down. So I thought you were on. I thought you were on my side.
I mean, I'm down. I think it is fun to run people down on Orisa, but it's kind of a problematic gameplay strategy.
I'm a Rhino player. What can I say? You know, that's what I do. I run people down. Anyway, all right. Let's get to the big piece of news here then. That they're overhauling tanks in the mid-season, and I think overhaul is the right word. They're making massive changes to the entire role. I don't think we need to talk about each change individually, but we can talk about like some of the repercussions, how we got here, and we can talk about the role as a whole. I know Jaws, he has some opinions on this, as he showcased on Twitter already. But the changes, I'm sorry, I'm trolling. The changes.
People got very mad.
They are buffing the tank passive to a 25% damage reduction from headshots. They're increasing the knockback resistance from 30% to 50%. They're reverting the armor back to the 5 damage per projectile up to a 50% maximum. So now if you're playing like Reaper with like lots of bullets or like Tracer with lots of bullets, it's going to be harder. Frick, even Mauga, Roadhog, I don't know. That might come in, and we'll talk a lot about Mauga and Roadhog in here. And also, they're changing the HP recovery passive from 20 HP per second out of combat, like it is for
This is a really good
now.
change, I think. This is like really cool.
But instead, it's 10 health plus 5% of their maximum HP per second. So if you have 600 HP, you're recovering 5% per second plus 10. So
40 per second. That's not bad.
There we go.
I think people underestimate how, like, in the end, this change is like a really big buff. It's actually a huge Reinhardt buff.
Let's go!
Like in a big way, this is a huge Reinhardt buff, actually.
What does he count in combat
you don't
if
lose
he's
the
hitting
passive
the shield?
from shield. No. Shield.
What's the
so he can stand behind shield.
Yeah. So you actually regen a pretty significant amount, which is really a part of Reinhardt's gameplay loop.
How long does it take?
5 seconds now? Dude, I don't count in game.
So you gotta hold shield. Wait, you gotta hold shield for 5 seconds then.
That's not that unrealistic. That's like how you play Ryan. Is you like go in, do as much as you can. When you're low, you hold shield until the shield breaks, which can be longer than 5 seconds.
This is a really good change. Overall,
or like you
it
hold
also
shield, you go around the
supports
corner.
too.
I mean, Reinhardt's one of the only tanks who gets
Healing
like
tank.
he stokes a ton of damage and then he like shields for a really long time. Like most tanks don't want to actually commit to like being out of the fight for a long time, but Ryan actually is totally fine with that. That's like the way the hero plays. So I think this is.
I think if you combine it with Ryan disengaging around corners and shit, then I can see that 5 seconds working for sure.
I mean, any Ryan
who
knows how to play is gonna do that.
It's kind of similar to Orisa, not exactly right, but you kind of hold corners and then you advance and then you hold corners and that kind of playstyle, right? Like rounding a corner against a Reinhardt, especially if it's close corners, then that's where it gets tough. So there's some additional changes here as well. So they're changing the Jungle Queen shout, so you can actually use shout during Carnage or Rampage. So if you're swinging that big old axe,
is quite interesting.
I mentioned it past, like reducing the animation or whatever. Now I'm just, this is great. You can use your axe and then shout at the same time. This is great. Talk about quality of life. And they're also reducing the cooldown to 12 seconds, and then some wrecking ball changes. But I guess also they announced that they're doing some changes to Junkrat, Echo, and Hanzo later on. But I guess instead of talking about all these changes individually, we can kind of talk about the tank role as a whole. But who is like the big winner for you guys from all these changes? Who do you think benefits the most? Jake already mentioned Reinhardt, but there's been a lot
Reinhardt
of talk
needs the most benefits.
about like Diva and stuff. Do you believe any of this stuff? Like, where do we go from here?
I think relativistically, Reinhardt gets the biggest buff from these changes, but that's Reinhardt's still Reinhardt. So and also that's mostly the heal passive. In the end, like the biggest, like I think in my mind, I think stuff like Roadhog. I mean, Roadhog. It's weird because all the tanks benefit differently from different parts. There's so many aspects of these changes. Like Roadhog benefits way more from headshot reduction, but way less from the heal buff. You know, it's like it's really challenging to and has no benefit from. Well, I guess Roadhog maybe has benefit because armor is now much weaker than it was before. On average, I would say armor's much weaker than before. Certain cases, armor's better than before, but most of the game has high burst instance damage. That armor is not going to be as effective.
Winston
against.
A big winner here too, because if he's like in the back line away from heals, like he will be able to regen a lot quicker.
Yeah, Winston can regen in his bubble sometimes.
Armor regen in his bubble. He's got the armor too. Like I think Winston seems like a sneaky good one here.
Yeah, Winston gets headshot all the time, especially in primal. Winston gets headshot all the time, at least at the professional level. So
it does seem pretty good for Winston, which is not bad. I don't mind that at all. I think if Winston was like more of a meta,
maybe Diva. I think Diva in my mind should be the biggest winner since Diva has the most
armor.
Actually, I guess it's kind of weird. Like Diva benefits a lot from but she can hide her head, so then the armor's nerfed, but she can also regen. I don't know. It's actually really hard to theory craft this. I don't think it's like meaningful to theory craft because it's such a big change. Like it's not. I don't know. Historically in the game, if the changes are this significant, theory crafting is like not relevant. Like no one is right. No one actually knows what the meta is going to be. There's all these weird knock-on effects. Like for instance, non-tank heroes that have armor are like that's like a heavy nerf for all of them. So like Torb and Brig or whatever, that's like a nerf for these heroes. They're easier to kill through their armor. Except for the matchups against Tracer are now better. Like it's so weird and complicated that it's one that we have to play to see what comes out on top in my view.
Yeah. It's actually you kind of revealed the secret right there, Jake. When these changes are so huge, you just can't theory craft this stuff. Like you legitimately, it's impossible to have the right answer prior to actually playing and competing on it. Which still listen to the show, guys. Still listen to the show. We have valuable opinions here. We know what we're talking about. But like that's actually one of the things I learned where I kind of like went down to the Blizzard offices a few times and like I got the pleasure to like playtest stuff. And then after a while they like asked me for my opinion, and I just realized like I'm probably not right on all this stuff. Like I tell them things, and I don't think I'm even right on some of this stuff. So I just kind of like I tempered myself, just like maybe don't be so opinionated about like balance changes and all this stuff, because the outcome is usually you might be in the right ballpark, but it's very hard to be exactly right when it comes to these patch notes and big changes as they kind of happen. You need to try it out for yourself. Different ideas going around. AVRL, you want to go ahead?
I got to take here. In general. Well, this is the moment, guys. This is the clip. I feel a little vindicated here because I've been one of the biggest voices for basically saying that I think headshots in this game in Overwatch are way overtuned in general. So I don't know if like it's a start.
Overtuned? Wait, this is a hot take from you.
True. I've said this before. I've actually vocalized this like years back. And Matt Mr. X Morello laughed at me, so fuck that guy.
I would laugh at you now. You think headshots are too strong?
Well, it's not that they're too strong, but they cause way too much of a delta between like where the fastest time to kill and where the slowest time to kill is. Like part of the issue and part of the big issue in tank is that I lose track of where I have and haven't said things. I might have said this on like a different platform or a different show or whatever, but essentially the issue with tanks, to me, one of the big issues with tanks especially is the fact that there's a gigantic difference between, you know, when you're getting hard double pocketed and you're just invincible serve admin, no one can kill you, versus you turn around a corner and just die. And both those things can happen in the space of the same game, because like if everyone just shoots you and you just get smacked in the head and a bunch of damage just flies your way, you just get melted as a tank. You get destroyed as a tank. But at the same time, you can also just never die. And so like tank in general just has this weird ping pong where you go between feeling like you get melted way too quick. Everyone's played that Winston game where you press shift and you just die midair. It's like, what the fuck? I didn't even land. We've all been there.
Okay, hold on. Speak for yourself. I don't know what you're talking about. Dying in the air on Winston? Your jump must be so bad.
Okay, Jake. Anyway.
That's not possible. What?
Anyway, continuing. Okay, that's very funny. Anyway, the point is you can just fucking die. You can just fucking die in this game, especially on tank, huge hitbox, whatever. So I think like reducing, because they said like they're trying to cut down the word for word, which reducing the 25% damage reduction on headshots should help cut down on being burst down in a fight. So they're trying to like reduce that delta between, you know, dying really fast and then not dying at all. And just trying to like, level out the
not
time
everyone
to kill
are
a
like
lot.
Jake and like hides their head to avoid the head hitbox. That's
Not
not the
everyone's playing.
average
Not
player
everyone's.
base.
Not everyone's playing
That's true.
Winston
That's true.
perfectly.
Maybe
so
this might
This
be
is-
more true for more of the player base than I.
this is low because Jake once again discovering that most of the player base do not play GM1. So, but yeah, like,
Even Jake's not playing GM1.
I'm not even.
Well, GM1
That's
is
true.
actually pretty high ranked now. So.
Jake's one of us now. So,
Yeah.
the point is, I actually think I actually wouldn't mind seeing this. Now, this is the truth out there. I wouldn't mind seeing the 25% headshot reduction across the board. I just think headshots in general, like headshots shouldn't do double the fucking damage. Double damage is so insane for headshots in a game like this. I just think
It's
like,
It's weird, but it's also like I think part of the problem is there's too many heroes who like don't headshot or who don't rely on headshotting, and so it has
Exactly.
this like major knock-on balance issue where if you nerf headshots, you nerf all the heroes who use headshots and sort of buff all the heroes that don't use them, which basically on average
I
buffs
just
low
think, like,
skill heroes.
well, you can change the numbers. You can change the numbers on the non-headshot heroes too, just to make it all fair. But the point I'm trying to get towards here is the game feels better when there's a stable TDK and you know what the you understand like what you're getting into in different situations. But like, yeah, the game's TDK can vary quite a lot just because a headshot does double the fucking damage. So it's like an extreme difference in how fast you can die, and especially on tank, that causes a lot of problems in terms of like the player experience, where you're just like you're ping ponging between extremities way too often, and that's a huge part of why I think tank is not fun.
All right. I think there's
I don't feel any of this. Am I trolling? I
don't agree with the take, but it's an interesting take. It's an interesting. I just think it's too important for like. I don't mind it on tank actually. I actually don't mind this change, having the nerf headshots on against tanks in specific, because tanks are too easy to headshot, and so maybe the reward for headshotting them shouldn't be as big because they have bigger head hitboxes.
I'm looking at this from an arena shooter perspective. Games that don't have fucking headshots. You don't headshot an arena shooter, and outside of like sniper and like.
You mean
fucking
Quake?
pistol and
Are you talking about
yeah,
Quake?
Quake,
Or...
yeah, Quake. Yeah, I mean,
Quake
in
has
TF2,
headshots.
in TF2 you don't
You
headshot
in
outside of
TF2.
sniper.
Well, yeah, well,
Also like sniper and like that spy gun.
Yeah.
In like these games, like they have very stable TDKs, and like I don't know, it never feels unfair when you die. Like if you get blown up, it's like, well, I had to get hit multiple times. It's just like you never have this extreme like damage burst coming through. Let's be clear. I think most people. Let me give you a cold take now. Let me just unspice it down. The coldest take would be to say most people think like burst damage in this game is not good, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure like everyone just agrees burst damage sucks. So one of the ways,
I mean, that's why they made
damage,
a change, right, to the health earlier in the year, because like,
yeah, well, I just think another way to reduce burst damage is to address headshots, but it's apparently a very unpopular opinion. But that's a avenue to address burst damage.
I mean,
Wait,
I
are
wouldn't
you
do it for
saying
anything with
burst damage
damage.
sucks? Is that what you're
What?
saying?
I'm saying burst damage is not an enjoyable experience in this game.
Oh, not an enjoyable experience. I was like, burst damage is pretty fucking good. Like you just delete
It
somebody.
sucks to play against. It sucks to play against. That's what I'm saying. Because no one just wants to get deleted like that. You know?
Sure, but I don't think
because
that
this-
happens for 99% of the player base, to be very honest with you, unless you're getting widowed.
I mean, dude, we
Am I
how
wrong?
long did we spend in like Sojin metas, even just in ranked? With
Yeah, and they fucking removed that shit 'cause
Soldiers
it was
with-
like, this shit's bullshit.
that's proves my point. Of course
Yeah,
they
but-
removed that shit because burst damage is shit. It's bullshit. It's ridiculous.
I really don't
pointless.
like it being across the board because like it just like I don't mind it. Like I said, I don't mind it against tanks. I really don't. Like again, this change in tanks is like sure that's fine because
But on
tanks are so
support
easy to headshot
DPS
them.
is like, you're
But
supposed
in
to
the
be
DPS
fragile.
1v1s, headshotting is like a huge part of what differentiate players in Overwatch. You know, like that's
Yeah.
you get like games like Quake, sure, it doesn't exist, but in Overwatch, it's like super, super important that you headshot on the heroes that headshot. It's like, especially now after they changed they made it easier to hit shots. Now headshotting is like, I would say even more crucial, even more consistent. And so it's like, that's like a major aspect of like what makes the game fun on DPS is headshotting people.
Yeah, I get it. No, I
so
get
I
it.
think it's
Like,
really dangerous to take away that across the board. But like I said, you're not relying, like against DPS, it's so critical you have headshots because it's like your TTK is counted in like shots. You're thinking like, okay, I'm gonna like 2-shot this guy or 3-shot this guy. That's what I need to do here with like a certain number of headshots. And I just feel like I think that's actually in a good spot right now, and I don't want to see them nerf it.
I mean,
but against tanks where you're not thinking, you're like, oh, I just hit him as many headshots as I can, and hopefully he dies. You know, then I'm more okay nerfing headshots. But I don't know. I don't want Cassidy's headshotting each other twice and not dying.
My takes changed over time. The take used to be, I just wish the headshots were all gone. Like we just played Quake, right? That used to be the take. And now I'm like, okay, I accept the headshots.
High?
Hold up, bro.
You can headshot in Quake. Like,
okay, well, you can with like railgun and like
With
machine
rail,
gun,
right?
but not with lightning gun, rocket launcher.
explosive. Okay, that makes sense, right? But they were like different weapon categories completely, so like that makes sense. You can't
plasma
headshot
gun. You can headshot. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't
like,
think
no,
all. I don't
most
think
people use
all
lightning
Quakes.
gun and
I don't
rocket
think
launcher
all
primarily.
Quakes can. I don't think all Quake games had a headshotting rail. Like
Okay,
to my
sure.
memory,
All right, we're
Quake
getting
3
sidetracked here. I feel like.
We're getting mad
This is the
sidetracked.
definition
I mean,
of a
Jules. I mean,
sidetrack.
okay. Well, Jack brought up. Anyway,
No,
the
it's
point
fair,
is,
it's fair.
what I'm trying to say is, like, I accept now that headshots in this game are fun, especially on DPS, and there's a dopamine effect there where you want to hear the dinks, you want to get the headshots. I get that, and
Yeah.
I can accept
live
headshots
for
being
the
in this game
dinks.
now. So it is what it is. But I just think, you know, I at least feel good about the fact that Blizzard are seemingly able to at least kind of like come into the same line of thinking that I have for a long time, where like, okay, we've looked at the health bars, we've looked at like projectile sizes, what's the next thing to look at, and it might be headshots, and they're looking at that now. And I think, you know, actually, maybe controversially, that's potentially the correct way to go about it.
Yeah, I don't, please, I think headshots is an amazing skill expression of like, playing hit scan and stuff like that, Widowmaker, Ash, all that stuff. But I can see, one side of the coin. Like, can I see that there's like support players in like Plat or, even lower who are like, hey, I'm a Lucio and the TTK is like too low. Like I showed myself for like 2 seconds and this player just like locked into like 2 Ash headshots or something and I died.
No.
Well, Lucio would be the second or third, the third biggest loser if they nerfed headshots. That's the third best.
Sure, but not for like the
support.
average player, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I
Well,
can see where
I
Avril is
think
coming
maybe Lucio
from.
is pretty, because
with,
Lucio
like, the
actually has a very
variability.
consistent headshotting mechanic, which is that he's often above your head. Like, it's like a really big deal in terms of consistency of headshotting. And so, I don't know. I think it's weird because you have characters like Kiriko and Zen that, I mean, you have to like really change them if you're gonna nerf headshots,
All
like,
right, Jake, I'm gonna go full psychology on you. Negative experiences outweigh positive experiences. Also, the negative experiences to balance are way more important than the positive ones. So if it feels like shit to die because of variability or like low TTK and like your opponent locked into something, that negative experience outweighs like, oh, I built my sound barrier fast because headshots are OP as Lucio. So I want to fix the negative experience of dying.
I will counter your, because I agree negativity bias is a real thing. You'll remember negative experiences more than positive experiences. But I would say variance is fun, actually. Like, that's very well studied, that like the high variance is actually a crucial part of what makes video games fun. I mean, you say gambling, but like, I mean, that's what games are, is it's like a high variance experience. You're never going to have the same game of Overwatch twice because the game is so complicated, right? Like, that's a huge draw for the game. And I think having a lot, like, in the end, Overwatch is always in this interesting spot between a MOBA and a true FPS. And so it's always going to be a little bit of a tug of war of like, where exactly should we be sitting in terms of where, like what's the priority. But for me, I don't know. I think headshotting is like one of those crucial things that kind of tethers the FPS aim skill aspect of the game. I think headshotting being strong is what is like making the current meta like avoid low skill heroes like Moira Mercy that like shouldn't dominate the game, prevent them from dominating the game. Like, I'm just so scared if you nerf headshots, you see all these like low skill heroes become dominant again. Like, and or I guess you could nerf headshots and simultaneously buff all the heroes that headshot people. But that almost like like doesn't fix the problem, then you kind of did nothing, right? Like if you those heroes were your problem here, and then you make them, you like give them other buffs, then maybe those things feel strong. I don't know. I think for me, dying to headshots is like one of the least negative experiences in terms of a way to die, because it's like, yeah, the guy headshot me, like, you know, like it's like I can't really be mad. Like, I don't know, other than Widowmaker shooting me across the map, it's kind of annoying because she's out of my range. In general, if I die to headshots, it's like, well, shit, I got gaps. Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't get mad when I die. I get much more angry when there's like my teammates grief and positional stuff, and like we throw the strategic aspect to the game. That's like way more tilting than, oh, that guy double headshot me. Well, fuck, you know, he kind of got me like that. I feel like that's how it feels when you die to headshots.
All right.
It's like
I do think
last thing on this AVRL now. We kind of need to wrap up this combo.
I do think like tanks. My concern with all of this, despite like being a fan of like headshots being reduced, I unfortunately it also just does mean that tanks are like just way harder to kill now, right? Like it's just not. This is a net buff to tanks across the board. I mean, okay, armor is less effective now. They reduce. I think armor is still fine because against certain heroes it's insanely good, but generally speaking, I mean, a tank's just like really hard to kill. Do they just increase how long it's going to take to kill every tank now? Is that, I don't know if that makes the game good or not. So I'm still 50-50 on the actual outcome, although I'm like, you know, I don't know if this is like really what helps tank in terms of making tank better. I mean, I think it makes tank more fun to play for the tank players, but I just think tank, the way it is in Overwatch 2, is just this swinging pendulum between I am server admin to I am dead weight. I don't know.
All right. Let me pose the question differently. Jaws, after the mid-season patch, are you going to be shouting in your room that this Winston player keeps jumping you with knockback reduction and no way, or like less headshot damage? Are you just going to lose your mind at all these tank players getting in your face as a support player?
I mean, Jack plays on it. Oh, good luck, Alari, bro. Rip.
Yeah, Alari's fucking dead after this, actually. If it's just
because Alari mostly shoots DPS and supports, right? You don't shoot. I guess you shoot the tank too, but
yeah. I mean, I shoot the tank a lot as Alari. You charge up ult so quick.
Yeah.
Less boop from the Alari shit. You know?
Yeah.
Although I think Alari is about the least significant boop to be nerfed.
Yeah,
like...
come on. When are you using that to like boop a tank? There's only a couple of times where I use that.
Bro,
I'm like,
fucking
I got
Alari.
a boop on a tank.
Do you think I play Alari? That'd be troll.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because it's hard to tell without actually playing the game. This, again, it's another big patch where every podcast is going to speculate. Everybody on Twitter is going to go absolutely fucking psychopath at me on Twitter after make one tank meme tweet. And no one's played the fucking game yet, so chill the fuck out and actually wait for the patch to drop. Like, it's very hard to tell. Like, big sweeping changes like this, you're not going to be able to be like, oh yeah, I think XYZ is strong, or like XYZ is weak, like, until we actually end up playing the game. So
Jaws,
I have no idea.
The title is Huge Tank Changes.
Yeah, it's funny to meme on because people get so pissed. People get so mad when you call their role bad, or like when you say they're delusional. Like my tweet was like, tank players are delusional. Like that's the meme. And like, it's so funny watching people just losing their fucking minds. It's just like if you want engagement, free engagement on Twitter, I was telling Avril this earlier, just make a mercy tweet. Instant free engagement. Like, oh, you need those numbers popped? Instantly get numbers up. Like, look at, like, I thought of this on the way home from playing Magic and I'm like, oh, I wonder, like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, tank buffs. Oh, they got 2 million HP. They do more damage. And they got, like, decent numbers because people were just fucking mad. Like, it's just, yeah, like, it's, people get so up in arms. I do not want to read the comments. I do not want to read the comments, Solomon.
Stay ignorant. Stay ignorant.
Yeah, stay ignorant to the comments. Because
you're trolling.
I'm trolling. Yeah, it's very easy to get engaged.
You're just saying, you're just doing a little trolling.
I'm doing a little trolling.
We can all relate to doing a little trolling.
Exactly, and it is very funny. But people do get so up in arms about patches and like changes and stuff that haven't actually hit the game yet, and it's worth just waiting until it actually, because I would say it's the same thing that happened with the HP changes, when it was like, holy shit, these HP changes are kind of crazy. Like, what's going to happen? Things are going to be unkillable. And it's like, I got into the game and like, I didn't really feel much difference. Maybe a little bit here and there, but it took maybe a few games to kind of get used to like, oh, I can't do this as Ana now. I can't do this as Bab. Like, I don't know. It didn't really feel that different when it came down to it all. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any strong opinions either way. It'll be interesting to see. Tanks are going to be harder to kill. Yeah, on the surface. Is that a bad thing? Maybe not, because a lot of tanks right now just get insta-deleted by a lot of characters. And I wouldn't say they're the strongest role, but I also wouldn't say they're the weakest role. Like, A lot of players like to defend their role or character and say they are the worst things in the game. They need buffs, but that's also because they one trick that, and it's like, well, you know, we can't have it. We can't have it both ways, right? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes down, but I haven't really got any strong opinions at all.
Yeah.
Until the actual patch drops.
If I had to make some kind of meta prediction, I think I would see Winston being more viable. The way I think about it is usually just like there are these like 3 or 4 tank heroes that represent like the different play styles. So like you have Ramatra as like the brawl hero, because especially Reinhardt is like really out of meta, Orisa's nerfed, whatever. But then you have like Sigma as your poke hero. And then Winston, generally speaking, is your dive hero. You know, Doom, Wrecking Ball, whatever, you know, what have you. But like I find those 3 to be like the signature heroes for the respective styles, right? And I do think that, you know, if you play Winston into like Sigma compositions, you know, I think you'll get away with it. It's very maneuverable. You can play around people. You know,
Winston
you can
is
say
the
like,
counter to Sigma, so that would be correct, Johnny.
yeah, but so I'm just saying, like I think this the dive play style, I think will just benefit from this. And you could be like, well, Diva really benefits from all these armor changes or something, or like what have you, and you destroy Winston. But it's like, yeah, but like realistically, like you play Diva, you're gonna slow down the game so much. People are gonna work around you. You kind of need like a Cassidy Torb comp to like pop off with like damage output. But in general, like the Winston teams, they'll just like play around your Diva pick, and you know, you don't have the same amount of mobility, right? And they'll kill you over time. And so I kind of do think that Winston is a big winner in that regard. And then we'll see how Brawl shapes up. You know, maybe there is some, you know, Space Station Gaming, Hadi Reinhardt, you know, Symmetra Cassidy kind of thing. But if I was forced to make a pick right now, I'd probably say more likely we'll see, you know, Falcons and Crazy Raccoons pull out the Winston at Dallas, and that will be the comp to beat. Because I'm guessing that they'll play on these changes, right? There's no way they'll find a solution not
Unless
to.
there's
So
another patch before Dallas.
Yeah, no, and there's no way they're gonna spin up
right?
some like realm or something. I don't think there's no way. So, you know, I don't really know what you guys think about, you know, Roadhog and Mauga, like especially with these changes. You know, right now we're seeing some play for Mauga and Roadhog in ranked, but like after these changes, I don't know how these changes will impact those heroes per se. Especially because the major complaint has been that those tanks kind of like are like tank busters. They're tank that are tank busters, which makes a tank life even more miserable, right? But yeah,
I mean,
it's
weird because Mauga and Roadhog are nerfed by the DPS passive change. They're buffed by the headshot debuff, the headshot change.
Yeah.
They're buffed by the armor change because they don't use armor and armor's not as good. So I don't know. I think we just have to play like in terms of what's going to be strong, we have to play. And then to be honest, I think it's like you see the results of that, and then it's like, wow, it's a Roadhog permalock meta, and then we need to nerf the shit out of Roadhog.
Yeah, right.
But in the end, I think AVRL has like a broader sweeping point here of that, like if these bigger changes are good, then you can fix the problem. The small individual problems that result from a good big change can be remedied individually, where like maybe the overall change. In the end, I think the biggest thing is that tank has to be more fun to play. I think that like the most important thing is that you're getting like good queue times, that like there's enough people in every role. And so for me, if a lot of tank players are really frustrated they're dying too fast, it's fine to like buff tank and make it more survivable. I really like the passive heal change. I think that's actually really good because the passive heal is like basically irrelevant unless you play ball, because it's just not enough healing for how long you're out of the fight as a tank. It's not realistic. But with it being a percent HP, it's like, oh wow, there's a much bigger benefit now. Like it might actually be worth hiding to regen. Like that could be a viable play now, where it just wasn't before, right?
I just hope tank doesn't become like this, you know, Godzilla King Kong situation where like everyone else is just on the sidelines cheering them on, and it's just like let them fight, and there's just 2 tanks fucking going at it. So I'm just hoping.
I mean, it's been that way before in some metas, right?
But that's what I'm saying is like
But I don't think that's an issue.
This game has a
as long as it doesn't last too
tendency
long.
to fluctuate between tanks being either way too good or just completely shit. So, you know, maybe the pendulum is just swinging back over towards way too good now, and every tank becomes server admin because they don't die because headshots don't do damage and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my god. But like we're in a live service game. As long as the game just fluctuates in like what's strong, what's not, like different characters and shit like that, and like different roles, I think it's okay. If we go a whole season in tanks OP, then yeah, sure, I'll be fucking pissed.
It just doesn't solve the problem.
nothing is like, what do you want? Perfect balance? Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, we're in a fucking
no,
game
but I
where
think
like
I just think like I don't know. Like I think
tank players right now, they are getting abused in ranked. Like
Let tank
those
players have their
motherfuckers-
day in the sun.
Exactly. Those
Even
guys
I-
getting
alright,
pounded
that's-
into the dirt a lot of the time.
That's fine. That's fine. But then you're just you know eventually Blizzard need to figure out a way.
Yes.
And I think their goal
And you
is
could just
to
nerf
figure
them.
out a way. I mean,
Like-
you just
Wait,
swing
figure
the
out a way to
pendulum
do
back.
what? Hold on.
Figure out a way.
to do
Figure out a way to have an experience where tanks can quote unquote feel fun to play, without like everyone else in the server being dragged behind. You know, your tank either being like
Sure.
needing to be either dominant or like just fucking feeding. I
You don't
know,
want ranked games that depend on your tank player's performance too much. Did you get the
In
good
an
tank or
ideal
the
world.
bad tank?
An
You
ideal
don't want
world.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
You don't want that
um,
for any role, though. To be fair, right?
No.
Well, but except it doesn't really happen in other roles. It mainly happens in tank is the thing, or at least in tank. It happens so much in tank that you don't see it as much in other roles. It's just the tank just kind of dominates that discussion at all times. So I don't know. I actually I don't have a final. Well, I do actually have a final solution, but it's so drastic that it's just like it's ridiculous to even talk about. So
I
Do
think
you want
as long
to
as
unleash it?
Selly
Or do you
will
wanna
take
save
You
it for a
might
rainy day?
want to use different terminology there. Huh?
I
think
don't. I
if
can't
you-
even remember what I said. Anyway,
Said final solution. I wouldn't. That term.
sure. I have a very
You have a big idea.
I have a very
let's say.
strong solution. Let's say
Okay,
then.
okay.
Fine. I have an extremely strong solution, a heavy-handed solution. One could even say that would quote unquote solve the tank issue. But it's so extreme that it's probably not.
I'm curious. What are you cooking in the lab? I might flame you, but I'm
You,
curious.
okay. The problem
If it's
is
too much
It's
of a
okay.
the problem is it's like it takes a bit to explain, and I don't want to like bog down the podcast on this,
Okay, okay.
on this
All right.
explanation.
All right.
You can
For another
meme.
time. Maybe we save it for
you
next
can
time.
meme. You can meme the 5-second take, which is essentially you just have to get rid of the tank roll entirely, and we just have because the tank roll in general is just way too much of an outlier in terms of design in the game. It's so much of an outlier that it
Move
causes many issues
Yeah,
in this game.
let's.
Anyway, Johnny, move the podcast on. You are the host after all.
I don't
Please
wanna-
move
Take
on.
us.
I
Take
want
us.
to. I want to have
Take
an
us.
episode at some point where like we can unleash our hot takes,
Yeah.
things like that. So I'd say
mean,
go back to the
that's
forward
a heater.
Admiral, sharpen the blade a little bit,
Sharpen
and
the
come
blade.
back,
Sharpen.
and we'll
I don't want
hash it
to.
out.
I don't want to promote someone else's show, but I spent 30 minutes on this topic alone on someone else's show where I actually fleshed out and it made sense, and I actually I got people to my side. So it's just I can't explain it in like 30
And
seconds.
Jake was
unfortunately.
not on that podcast. I know that.
I was
for
not on
sure.
that podcast.
It takes
you can say, but-
fucking in 30 seconds. It sounds ridiculous. In 30 minutes, it actually sounds plausible. All I
Yeah.
got.
With enough delusion, anything sounds possible, brother. I'm
no.
just saying.
I'm
just saying.
open-minded.
Listen,
Avril,
Jack-
I want
Jack-
you to know,
Jack,
as the host of this podcast,
Jack,
I'm open-minded to your ideas.
We are both big alien UFO heads. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
okay,
Let's
I
not
agree with
fucking
you on that
talk about
shit.
delusion and shit. We are the biggest fucking UFO brains this side of the fucking planet. So let's just chill out. I'm right there with you.
All right.
All right,
okay,
so-
I feel that.
In the lab, we got an alien episode and we got a hot takes episode,
Yeah,
all because of Avril. So we'll table those conversations, Avril, and we'll get to that a different day. We got some dark weeks here, where without OWCS. I mean, there's Face It going on and there's some collegiate stuff going on, but you know we got some
You
spare
guys
time
aren't
on
gonna be
our hands.
watching my Face It League matches. We're gonna take it to Toronto Defiant.
Oh boy, can't wait for that.
Definitely
can't
More
wait.
delusion on the PodCast. Who
Are
would
you
have thought?
stream? Are you streaming the POVs? By the
No,
way.
no, my internet's been bad, so I haven't been streaming.
Oh,
I did turn on
Well, honestly, I should
SK
though. We've
stream
been
when he
having a
played
lot of fun in
Luminosity.
these matches.
I watched Nepal against
I think it's good
Luminosity,
content, dude.
and then I was like, wait, why am I watching this? This
Dude,
is just a waste
we
of my
won
time.
we won a round on Nepal. I popped off on Tracer to win a round.
Oh, by the way, I met Elver at LAN.
Elva? Oh yeah,
I met him
cool.
in person. I met
Yeah,
him in
Elva's my
person.
teammate.
First time ever.
Who did you say?
Elver, Jake's
My
teammate.
Oh, okay, all right.
Met him at LAN.
I didn't hear because Jake spoke over.
He's a nice guy.
All right. Okay. So that wraps up the tank changes. Now we're heading over to a couple of segments that I've cooked up here. A couple of segments. We're bringing back a classic, which is worst take of the week, but we'll get to that later. As you might remember, last year we did a few episodes with the worst take of the week, and the fans liked it, so I decided to bring it back. But for this first one, I don't know what to call this, but as you can tell, you know, throughout the years, I'm big into Overwatch history. Sometimes, you know, I've been my Johnny the Wise, you know, personality or whatever, brought it back old school. I'm quick to bring up 2016, all this stuff, right? So I got this little history segment for you guys. So I decided to give it a bit of a think here. M80, they really performed. They look good. They brought in 2 Koreans with some American players. And so I gave it a think, and I thought, what's an American team historically that brought in a couple of Korean players and then actually, you know, played pretty decent? Now, they didn't live up to M80 here. But I was like, what's an American team that brought in a couple of Korean players here? And the first team that my mind thought about was Cloud9 in 2017 when they brought in Xepher and Selly. This was a big moment. And here they are playing against LG Evil with some familiar names. We got Jake, Vol, Super, Avast, Train. So here we go. We got Gods playing Winston. A lot going on in this clip. Jake pops a visor. Gods is primaling him away from this ledge. You know, we got this triple tank thing with Soldier going on right here. But there's more, guys. Xepher has a Dragon Blade. Selly has a visor. Here we go. Xepher goes in, pulls the blade.
This is a weak blade. This is already such a bad blade.
And look at this. He kills Avast with the deflect. He kills Avast with the deflect from Train's Whole Hog, but I don't think it ends here. Is there a pulse coming here somewhere? Yeah, there's a pulse from Surefour into a Reinhardt. No. Onto Zarya. There is nothing here. Bro, it's nonoing on Zarya with 30 charge, and there is nothing. There's a lot going on in this clip. Legendary matchup here, and you actually ended up winning this one, Jake.
Yeah, no cap. You're using this as an example of why bringing Korean players is like really good and it's gonna elevate you, or what?
Well, it didn't quite get there. We're not looking at M80
Selly,
over here.
Bro,
but
that's a name I haven't thought about in years.
Look at this comp they're playing. They're playing Genji, Soldier, Tracer. I mean, this was the good old times.
We're bringing the triple tank, and we're proving why you
Holy
can't have
shit.
fun. You're not allowed to have fun. We play triple
Dude.
tank. This is a classic. Roadhog, bodyguards, me and Ana on the high ground. This is actually a classic strat. And then Roadhog, Ryan, Zarya with Ana Lucia. It's actually a class. The Roadhog is like a crazy bodyguard for your Ana soldier who just throw nades and farm damage. And then the
Look at that visor.
the low
Shades
ground
of
Ryan, Zarya,
Horizon
Lucio
there for
is
Team
strong.
USA in Santa Monica.
We don't
Just
even need
saying.
the grab. Oh, he's gonna grab. It's funny.
Well, it's just 2017. Of course you gotta grab.
Too laggy.
Yeah.
Or-
I mean,
this last
the
fight,
ult
what's it
charge
looking
rate is
like here?
crazy quick too. Oh
That is
my
true. Back in the
God.
day, cycling ults. That's I
Your
forgot
ult, like,
about that. Change,
every
man. It's
fight,
been
it was
it's think about how much the
ridiculous.
game has changed since then. I mean, it's really striking
Yeah.
in so many aspects. The game has like really changed.
Imagine if we still had the ult generation rate now.
Oh,
like
God.
you,
I don't
it
even
would
want
be
to imagine
ridiculous.
Kiriko ult every fight. Oh, that'd be
yeah,
fun.
like think about how good players have gotten to, and like you have a fucking pulse, like 2 pulses a fight, like some bullshit. Like, oh my God, dude, it'd be so ridiculous. And then the soldier has the bloom as well, so it's like not perfect. It's not like perfect like laser anymore. It was like really bad at long range, or like soldier still at long range, but like the bloom is ridiculous. Oh man, what a ridiculous time to exist in Overwatch. Actually, look at that shit. Look at how far his fucking rec was going. Ridiculous.
Boom, the jump shatter. He actually got booped, I think. But yeah, it was a big
Super
shatter from
with the fucking
Super.
Nano. And then look at how fast he's getting ult back. He's like, whoa,
Yeah.
he's killing people.
I said
Yeah,
this in a
these
previous
guys.
episode not too long ago. You had like shatter every fight, you had nano every fight.
Yeah.
It's-
I mean, we had the. I think was this after the Ana speed nerf? It probably was, since we're not playing Reaper. The nano speed nerf, I mean. But we used to nano Ryan all the time. Nano Ryan with speed amp Lucio was like one of the most heinous things in the
OP.
game. I mean, you literally 2-shot everyone and you're moving at warp speed. Like it's actually one of the most broken. It was like might have been better than Reaper. I mean, I guess the Reaper shit was too out of control, but you didn't need another ult, right? So you just nano Ryan, and he's like always a Death Blossom. You know, that's how Ryan works. You spin your mouse and you hit like a giant AOE around you.
Big play of the game here from Adam.
Wait, this player. Look at the ult charge. Holy fuck!
It goes
Like,
up, baby.
Dude,
Oh
he got
my-
like 30% in the play of the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that was an insane play.
That is amazing.
Oh, look at him! There
So,
he is.
anyway,
Wow.
yeah, this didn't end up going too good for Cloud9, which is why it's not really comparable to M80. Here we go. Surefour playing the Pharah. Wow.
No,
This
What
is
is
actually
Fire here?
hilarious.
Is this a fire duel? No, we're on locking it in our meta comp. No
This is
change.
actually hilarious because I can't remember if it was Crazy Raccoons or Falcons, but they did literally just that. They brought out the Pharah, and I was like, oh my god.
What's he saying?
Yeah, brought out the Pharah here on Village to get some extra poke over the rooftops. I'll say they played a lot safer in that game than they did right here with the Pharah.
Well, because this was a different Pharah, right? Like now
it's a different comp.
I mean, it's weird because new Pharah,
no mercy.
you can't stay in the skybox, right? The old Pharah, you were like never stop flying. I mean,
Yeah. No, that's true. But it looked different. It was really funny. But it was still the same. Far Own Village. Far Own Village is a classic in my opinion.
Yeah, this is actually an Overwatch classic. Far Own Village.
But
goes
yeah,
out of style.
it didn't end up going too good. Gods, of course, swapped over to the main tank role for this particular pickup. Gods was historically, of course, an off-tank player. They had Rib and Mendo Kusai on the roster before they picked up Xepher here. And
Good stagger.
they ended up making a couple of changes. They did pick up Bishop as well. They picked up Bishop to be their head coach.
Bishop.
And they...
God, this is such a classic comp for us, man. This is a classic comp. I remember all the synergies now. We had like the heal station on all that. We would like fight with all the tanks stacked on the heal station because heals were so like hard to come by.
You'd get insta ult as well.
Oh yeah, you farm ult like crazy when you.
Honestly,
I would like come into the fight with heal station.
He's so good.
Wow.
They go May. Like, why are they on Zen? They're on Zen May with Sindiva. What the fuck? If we don't win this, I'm gonna be embarrassed. What is their comp?
Yeah, I mean...
Look at this Zen. He's not looking at me. He literally doesn't look at me for the whole kill.
What was that, bro?
What?
Crazy.
Hello, bro. I'm here.
Maybe
Knocking on the door.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So there we go. Selly was sort of part of Rhino's Gaming Wings, which also had familiar names like Mono, TC, and Arc. I did have a Reddit link here as well when they were announced, because I wanted to see the fan reaction to this particular pickup here. You know, it was one of the first times where Koreans was picked up for the region. Some people showed some excitement for this. Another guy said, Xepher and Selly are pants-shittingly good. Played against them in comp.
I love that. No, guys, don't worry. I've seen them in ranked. They're good.
I've seen them in ranked. They're pants-shittingly good. There you go. Xepher was apparently a popular flex player at the time. He has a Xepher frag movie. You can click on that right there, Solomon.
We should watch a frag movie in 2017. That would be
good
incredible.
times. It's not too interesting, but there is some Sara gameplay here. Here we go.
Oh,
here we go. Look at him go.
This is all the secret Xepher scrim footage. Now we know
That
what
is
it is.
secret scrim footage. Look at the top 500 logo bottom left as well. You love to see it.
We don't have that anymore.
Dude, no one is looking at this guy, and he's just killing one by one.
Welcome to 2017 Overwatch.
This is the level. Oh
wait,
wow.
that right click was kind of nasty though. Actually,
right click. Look at his right clicks. Whoa.
Okay,
Whoa.
those kind of nasty even now.
Junkrat. Whoa. This is.
Now you piqued my interest.
Yeah. Mirage was in that clip. I think Mirage was like a really popular Korean streamer at the time. Still is, yeah. So there you go. All right, enough. I think we have enough of this.
Look how quick everybody is.
Well,
it's in 2x speed, but look how quick they are.
He did speed it up.
Wow, they were so much faster back in the day.
It's crazy, bro. Imagine that.
Imagine they had to slow the game down. High noon.
Oh my god, there's no way.
So yeah, people were hyped up about Xepher apparently, because that is his frag movie. So there you go. Yeah, didn't end up.
Selly, I don't remember Selly at all. I don't
Selly,
even...
is that right?
Selly.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going way back in time to be talking about these. This is some deep OG.
That's a Korean player I've never heard of before. Genuinely.
Very old school player. I don't even know, to be fair.
Yeah, very old school. Very old school. But it was like a big deal at the time because we're like, oh my god, the American team picked up Koreans. And it was like a huge...
Crazy Raccoons, no way.
There you go, a streamer for Crazy Raccoon. Wow.
Right now?
Click on his Twitter. Click on the Twitter.
Where are they now? Overwatch edition.
Whoa! What the fuck? They have 413,000 followers?
Dude.
What the fuck?
Only Twitch
Little
in
did
Japanese.
we know.
Only Twitch in Japanese.
Selly went on to
Dude,
gap us all.
I had no idea.
Selly is the most popular
famous.
streamer in Japan. Bren follows him.
I had no fucking idea. Oh my god.
Is Selly a Valorant player? Apex, maybe?
This I can't believe this just went
Apex,
full circle.
Apex, yeah. Must be Apex.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
Shit. Okay. Wow. I did not know that.
Holy shit, this is insane.
Looks like GTA RP and then Apex.
See, it's all about farming that Japanese clout, you know? Selly knows what's up.
Yeah,
This is Finn's pipeline. This is Finn's going down the same pipeline right now.
ENCE is also doing a lot of like Japanese content as well. It's kind of cool. Yeah,
They all
Finn's doing
know.
a lot of
They
that.
all know.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the strat. That's the meta.
I'm telling you, man. I was watching it in Japan.
Adrian mentioned in chat, reinforced realizing I made the wrong career choices. Yeah, I'm moving to Japan right now. I'm moving to
Learning
Japan.
Japanese. I'm moving to Japan.
I'll be
I'm
the
gonna
Japanese
an Overwatch
wolf.
streamer.
I'm moving to Japan. I'm gonna learn. I'll boot up my own pizza brand in Japan. It'll all be good.
Pizza brand.
Yeah.
Swedish pizza brand.
Wolf had his own pizza or something in Korea, right?
In
Yeah, he does.
No,
Korea, yeah.
But I mean,
But Wolf is
Wait,
also very
I thought he had his
ingrained
own-
in like
I thought he had an army shoe,
Korean-
not a pizza. Does he have a
Yeah.
pizza?
he has
I don't know,
he has Pudujige thingy and a pizza, yeah.
There we
And
go.
a pizza. Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
He's got both.
Also, additional to this segment before we head off the strategy thing. Today, the 6th of May, is the anniversary of the Stage 3 Finals 2018. New York Excelsior beat Boston Uprising 3-0 in the Stage 3 Finals. That was, I think this was the stage, Boston Uprising. They went undefeated in the stage. They had that huge overtime on Oasis where Striker was crying after the game. They beat on Spitfire, I think. This was a huge series because Sabiolbi and Striker were the two best tracers in the world at the time, and it was a huge debate who was the actual best tracer between Sabiolbi and Boston Uprising. It was a 3-0 for New York, but it was actually 4 maps because they drew on Volskaya. They drew on 2CP, who would have thought? And it also had that iconic moment of, I think Jonak was like body blocking a high noon with his Transcendence.
Oh, yeah,
bro,
that.
Jonak still, I think to this day, is like the player who peaked highest above the level of the game at that moment. You know, like no one has been so much better than everyone else. Like even Proper in his prime, you know, I think it's like still Jonak stands alone in terms of like hitting that level where no one else was even close, just on a different level.
It was crazy. I mean, it was Jonak and then literally everyone else. Jonak syndrome was a real thing. Like
Everyone wanted to be Jonak. It was like, bro, you ain't Jonak. Like
Sleepy, like pocket me. He goes to know me and
I'll be
the people on Shock.
just as good as Jonak. It's like, well, sure you will, honey. Like I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you ever scrimmed New York, Jake, but that must have been nuts.
Yeah,
Like, they were just so-
played matches together. We scrimmed them. It was just
Sure, yeah. I mean, they were just different.
game is freaking hard, man.
Oh shit, that was old sites. Wow, old sites looks weird.
Visor or Widow?
No, sites. Widow sites. Like the X-rays looked weird. They look different.
I don't even know,
Obviously, it
man.
was not the same team, and you know they had Jonak in this version too. But I remember for Apex Season 2 when we scrimmed LW Blue, I think we had like a 7% map win rate or something in scrims. It was like depressing.
It's crazy how dominant New York was season 1 with those Mercies and meta. They were just too good at it.
Yeah,
I mean, do you think they also had Mono?
Yeah.
Was Meko on this team this year as well?
yeah. Meko
Yeah.
was on this team. Yeah,
Mono, Meko, AVRL. I guess
Fine,
the
and
only,
Libero.
like Arc and Libero probably weren't like as elite on their roles, but I mean, for season 1, this team is so out of control. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
They, I guess, meta change for playoffs. Unlucky XD.
yeah. All right, let's head over to the next segment. We got worst take of the week. We're bringing it back. I found this comment on Reddit, and we had to bring it back.
It's where they always come from, isn't
It's
it?
where they come from. We have to bring it back. Sparkle announced 5 days ago that he's looking for team, and people were overjoyed. You know, Sparkle, love Sparkle,
yeah.
great personality.
Cool to see him play.
So I went scrolling through the comments for this segment, and I found Little Curry Bread with 3 points, saying, "Jaws can't believe it. Jaws can't
It's not
believe it."
even in a negative.
I always felt his tracer was great, super clutch. Always felt like he was able to win fights off a great pulse bomb. Compare that to someone like Alpha-E or Kevster, who disappears when it matters.
This is such a good Reddit take, actually.
What?
And it's not even negative, like, upvotes, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually positive. It's 3+.
That's
3+?
so cap. That's so cap.
I
It's
don't
because
know
people
when-
read the first part of the comment and click upvote, and they're like, "Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Sparkle." But come on now, you can't be calling Kevster and Alpha-E chokers. These players have shown so much clutch potential. These are like such. I don't know. This is great. This is
I guess if you
legendary.
only looked at Glads like the last year when they were just kind of turbo ass, like maybe you'd be like, okay, I guess they disappeared, but it was like that wasn't just Kev.
yeah.
I don't know. I thought this was the
I don't
most
know about
like it
that.
was written almost like a meme. Like this appears when it capital matters. Like I feel Kevster are just mad jokers.
Hey, having Kevster
So
on
you know
my
what this
team.
reads like?
So
This
weak
reads
to
like
clutch.
this reads like a Jaws bait tweet that he sends up and walks away from.
Hey, that would be a
Maybe
good
it
one,
is.
actually.
Maybe
I get a
that's good
lot
one.
of
It's well written
impressions.
if they're baiting us. It's working on me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting baited.
It's working.
Hey man, as someone who's tweeted out a lot of bad takes, game recognizes game. I saw the comment and I was like, damn. I respect it.
That's a little insane to say Kevster disappears.
Yeah,
But-
that was thrilling.
Only on Reaper, guys. Only on Reaper.
I don't
Only on
blame
Reaper.
I don't blame people for being fans of Sparkle, but damn.
Finally,
Same with Alfie and
Sparkle's
Kevster
coming
or-
back, baby. Let's fucking go. Watch this. T1 pick up a team. So we have TSM entering the game, and then we have T1 entering the game. They pick up Sparkle. They unretire Doha. They just bring all of EM back, baby.
Okay.
They get a
How much money? How much
reunited-
money? How much money you put on the line that Rush joins the same team as
reunite.
Sparkle?
$1,000 million,
bets,
$1
good bet.
billion.
They
Easily.
can't. They're together forever. You know those
Yeah.
two. Ride
And
or
so
die.
they should be. Wait. Wait. This
Solomon
fucking
is
guy,
literally
this
carrying
fucking-
this episode.
This F11 motherfucker. Just fucking inspect element. Changes my tweet. Okay, buddy. Can't wait for this to get screen capped and put on Reddit. Thank you for that.
Please do screen cap and put it on red. Solomon, you're carrying the episode. Thank you.
Fuck you, Sol.
That's
Gotcha.
great. Thank you very much, Solomon. All right, that's it for my fun couple of segments right there, and we only have left Bren's Player of the Week here to wrap up the episode really. So, do you have any? You guys have any?
I have two.
Oh, you have candidates? Two candidates?
I have
Bring
two
it on.
candidates.
Bring it
There
on.
was, speaking of funny things that happen on social media, and one of the social medias out there is indeed Reddit. I don't know where this came from. It's such a random like fluff thing that happened, but ex-Chinese Overwatch League talent Xiao Shuang, who used to be
Oh my
a
god, I
host,
saw this.
and Guxue went to like a sex expo in China.
You're not allowed to bring up the video, Solomon.
And no, the video is already censored. It's already self-censored. You don't have to play. It's up to you. It's already censored. But the point is like you read that. The best part is actually the comments. You go in the comments and it's just like, guys, I thought it might have been a typo or maybe like just a mistranslation. Nope, they actually just went to an adult expo. It's actually what they did. There's
That's
no lie. There's
fucking
zero
funny.
lie in the title. One of the comments is the what expo now? It's like, yeah. When I read the title, I somehow did not think it would be exactly what I first thought it was. It's just like what? Like, what are they doing? Like
That
they
is funny as fuck.
They literally went to like a fucking sex expo and just made content there together. They just walked around and like inspected all the
Guxue's
fucking
next
shit on.
cosplay is gonna go crazy.
And just inspected the things on sale. It's unbelievable. It's just like, yo, what is going on here? Like, how did what? It's just so random. It's just the most random fluff thing ever.
I couldn't believe it. Not as in like a bad thing, but it's just so random. It
That
was
is funny
so
as
random.
fuck, actually.
Like,
God
what
damn.
the what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just funny. I don't even know what to think about it. It's just hilarious. And yes,
Yeah.
I watched the video.
Look, I actually didn't like believe the title, and then I saw the comments, and I was like, I actually had to click just to make sure what it was. And like you said, it was like censored or whatever. But it was actually like I couldn't believe that was a thing. And then I started going like, what would like the Western equivalent of this be? I don't know. This
I mean, we definitely have that at expos, right? I mean, there's no way we don't.
no, yeah, I meant like an Overwatch player.
Oh,
like Guxue
right.
going,
No,
"And I was
Just by the
recording
way,
this
just
video."
by the way,
It was funny
like-
as fuck.
like
Nice.
there's porn is illegal in China, so that's not what they're selling here. There's like apparently what you can see in the video what they're selling is just like fucking toys and fetish gear and whatnot. And so that's what they did. They just went
right.
around looking at that stuff.
That is funny
So-
as fuck.
And they
was funny.
just decide it's like I don't know. I don't know if this is I don't think this
I
is
mean,
her
they're
regular
adults. They
content.
live their life.
I know, but it's just strange. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out with a pro player. We're gonna talk about Overwatch, and we're gonna do
Yeah.
that in the background, the backdrop of a fucking sex expo. That's the backdrop we're gonna choose. It's just,
I mean, it's a funny bit of content.
Could have gone to fucking Chili's or fucking I don't know some place. Could have just, you know what I'm saying? It's like you could have gone anywhere, but they decided that's gonna be the backdrop. It's just hilarious. It's just that.
I have
is
a very
choice.
boring. My boring one was going to be TSM for like getting a team in Overwatch because they haven't had a team since what, like 2016, 2017. They didn't have one in 2018, Max. So when it obviously started, but that was my boring one.
yeah.
TSM for getting into the game against. But I'm happy to do with the Guxue one because that's funny as fuck.
Yeah, I think the Expo beats out TSM.
Yeah, when was the last time they had a
unfortunately.
team? There you go, 2017. Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
There you go.
Nice.
The shows.
Blue,
Our
JKW,
complexity.
Joe Meister,
Go Meister, love that guy. Most
Dude,
playtime of all
Line
our pros.
Pro, Bishu.
Bro. There were so many fucking. That was like a whole thing in the OW Discord back in the time where people cheating accused the Cho and Nicholas and Torque Cho. They were just like, these guys are cheaters, and there was like a huge thing for like
Wizard was
weeks.
on this team.
Wow.
2017. Then he went to Luxury Watch Blue.
Oh, actually, a second shout out on Bren's Play of the Week. Wizard Jung did that targeting video on Wizard Jung's YouTube channel, and it was actually great. It was really fun content.
His coaching YouTube videos have been really good, actually.
Yeah, that was
I didn't
fantastic.
see
So that's
Is
legitimately.
that what it is? Is targeting as a coaching video or what?
No, he did.
Well, I mean,
he
he's
did
got
a
a-
video that got posted that was on like targeting in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
see.
it was
He's done
really
a lot
well
of good
explained, and it
videos.
was funny, and I was like, "This is a great video." So
I think like some of the things I think about the game are different, but like a lot of the way he presents information is like, yeah, similar to like a lot of the ideas I have about the game, or like ways to help people.
but
awesome.
so yeah, shout out to Wizard Young. That was good content. If you want to learn how to do some of that stuff, go check out his YouTube channel or sign up for Jake's course. You know, either of the two works. There you go. Anyway, all right. Unfortunately, I think Guxue going to a Expo wins out
That's
here for the
easy,
week. So
bro.
there you go.
So good.
Easy.
That's
Sorry,
hilarious.
TSM.
Oh my
That's
god.
hilarious. Sorry, TSM. All right, that kind of does it here for episode 224. It was a pleasure, gentlemen. Good to get you guys' thoughts, and thank you to Solomon
Fortnite is overrated.
for
So true.
carrying the show.
What do you
so
guys
long.
think
Bankroll
about
is
no build
overrated.
Fortnite?
You're the best, Solomon. Thank you so much.
This. Crank some 90s, guys. Everyone go crank some 90s. I'll see you next time.
Low key, I would. Low key, I would. Anyway, all right. Let's wrap up the episode. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we'll see you this week. Actually, we got a second episode coming out this week, so we'll see you this week. Goodbye.